oak stand tall, a warrior lurks, sharp tools he hoards. Steel in his claws, vengeance in his gaze. The EDC Squirrel prowls, chaos ablaze. Blades glint, moonlit and cold. Tight and grip, stories untold. Protect your nuts, the cry he screams. Pocket knives fuel his twisted dreams. Steel and fury, sharp and clean. The EDC Squirrel reigns supreme. Acorns scatter, but knives he keeps. A forest arsenal, the shadows weep. Leather sheaths tied to his chest. A rodent armed, none dare contest. Dry branches creak. The hunt begins. A squirrel's code, sharp as his protect your nuts, the cry he screams. Pocket knife fuel his twisted dreams. Steel and fury, sharp and clean. The EDC Squirrel reigns supreme. In the shadowed glen, where the oaks stand tall, a warrior lurks, sharp tools he hoards. Steel in his claws, vengeance in his gaze. The EDC Squirrel prowls, chaos ablaze. Blades glint, moonlit and cold. Tight and grip, stories untold. Protect your
Okay, testing. There was an update to my PC and I forgot it changes my stuff. Actually, I should see if make sure everything else is working okay. Hopefully, yeah, somebody can hear me. Okay, I see the mic working. So, hey, we're actually kind of starting on time today. Sorta, kinda, maybe a little bit. All right. Morgan, you gotta. Oh, no worries. No worries. Got a Christmas thing going on. Let's see here. Let me make sure I've got everything working. I've been kind of overslept and been running around. I'm trying to make sure everything's been or got squared away. And I think we might be okay. Got everything set, I believe. I'm a little muted? Really? Wow. Okay, hold on a second. That's weird. They haven't changed anything. Hopefully they didn't change anything with the audio. Let's see here. Is this any better? Hey, Waylon, how you doing? A little muted. I know it's different from how I have my video game channel set up because I move around a lot, so I have a different type of mic, one of those clip-on mics, so that way it moves around with me. Because I know my desktop mic, when I'm doing my video game channel, as soon as I move like more than a certain distance away, it disappears. So okay, so a little better. I just pointed the mic more towards my face. Oops. Now I pointed it away from my face. That doesn't help. All right. So, like I said, in the title, I've got just a handful of new knives. It's been, Christmas season. Things are a little on the tight side. So, I realized I had this cable all over the place. Things are a little on the tight side. So I didn't go and pick up nearly as much as I would like to, but I still got a couple new knives. Just didn't sound like a normal Sunday or Saturday. I mean, oh, no worries. There has been a couple updates to the system, one of which changed my stuff. Of course, I had to change it back, and another one for the audio, which always frightens me because I know my audio is going to change as soon as that stuff gets changed. But hopefully, it's not too bad. As I was saying, I have just a handful of new knives. I actually am waiting on one. I got one delivered earlier today. I've got another one that was supposed to be here yesterday. And unfortunately, is this working? Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know, some weird delay. But according to what I'm seeing online, it is on its way today. So there's a chance I might step away from the desk, go grab that real quick. However, I don't know if I'll be able to open it today, depending on what time I get it. Because one thing I learned with electronics, and I do the same thing with a lot of like my knives and items that are generally prone to corrosion. Not that a lot of my knives are actually prone to corrosion, but you know how knives can be. I like for them to acclimate temperature-wise, especially during the winter, because I don't want to bring them in and immediately open them after they've been out in the cold. Otherwise, you get rapid condensation on whatever it is. And this is especially important, I think, for electronics. You can get rapid condensation. It gets all wet in areas you don't want it to get wet. And that's where a lot of times problems happen, especially with electronics. But sometimes, depending on the knife you have, that can cause some issues as well. So hopefully it comes early enough. I'll give it a few minutes to warm up, and then we can take a look at it. Otherwise, hey, Dream Crusher, how you doing? I still have some new knives to show you, and then we'll get on with everything else. So let's start with that, like we've always done. Now, the first couple knives, I think all but like two of the knives I have are from Chasing Blades. So if you haven't checked out Chasing Blades on Whatnot, go check them out. They are still working on their website. They do have some stuff up on their new website, chasingblades.com. And They also have, I think they're moving a lot of their inventory from their old website, which is unwaveringendeavors.com. And it's now chasingblades.com. They're still moving stuff over. But do check out the website. If you're on Whatnot, check out chasingblades.com. They have shows between Tuesday and Friday. They kind of waver a little bit in the times, but generally Tuesday and Friday, so nothing this weekend. But if you want to catch them, Tuesday through Friday is the best way to do it. Now, the first one I'm going to show you is one that I've been waiting on for a little bit. Actually, I did show you this. I want to make sure I got everything out, because sometimes I leave things and then I forget if I showed them or not. Nope, that was it. Okay. So the first one I'm going to show you is a traditional knife. Oh, sick as butt. Woke up at, oh, that's not good. Hopefully you feel better soon. Sit back and relax. Okay, the first one I've got from Chasing Blades. This one is obviously a case traditional knife. And this one, I have a thing for this particular color. It is a trapper. And if you're familiar with a lot of the things I collect, trappers are one of my favorites. This one is, what do they call this? This is an antique bone? No, I'm sorry. This one is a chestnut bone smooth trapper. These have been, from what I understand, sold out in a lot of places. I believe they're still making them. I don't think they're limited in any way. But it's just something about this color I really like, and a lot of my traditional knives. One of the reasons why I like to toast my knives. Yeah, lots of liquids. Drink lots. But it's a traditional style trapper. Your two-bladed type, clip point, spade blade. So nothing like, I mean, if you're not interested in in traditional knives, it probably won't. You know, you've seen one, you've probably seen them all, is what I know some friends are like. For me, I like the different materials that they use, and each one has, in my opinion, a beauty all of its own. The chestnut bone in this case, I think, looks absolutely fantastic. All the little, I don't know what you call them. All the little, because they're not defects or anything. They're like unique little. I mean, from being a natural material, you get these neat little natural inclusions that make each bone, even though you might have like 100 of these, they're all going to look different in some way. And this one really caught my eye. So we're going to polish that off real quick. And of course, there it is. I was going to say, I don't know what I did with my cloths. This one's getting used up really quick. So again, one of my favorite knives to collect, the trapper. I just think they're super handy. I actually carry, not all the time, but I'll carry a traditional knife with me the majority of the time. I'll have a modern with me, and then I'll have a traditional, and these will do a lot of the work. They actually do. I actually use these probably, knives, traditional knives, more than I use any of my moderns, even though I carry a modern with me all the time. Not saying that I don't use my moderns, but I'm not exactly in emergency situations, and I can generally take my time with stuff, so I'm not, in a rush to flip a knife out or things like that. Then I'll just use one of these. And I find these easy to maintain because they're really easy to sharpen. Although they might not necessarily keep their edge as long. But that also depends on the traditional knife. You'll be fine. Just keep drinking your liquids. How is everybody? How is everybody else doing, by the way? It's set. Ooh, good God. I'm drinking that coffee again. It's been giving me the burps. I don't know if it's the coffee or something else. I'm pretty sure it's not the coffee. It has been a long and busy week, and I am glad the weekend is here. Unfortunately, it's not done yet. I'll be starting my vacation soon. So everybody's trying to knock their stuff out as fast as possible, which is making it busy for me. But here we go. Nice. And as soon as I wipe one off, I add another fingerprint. It's going to happen. But yeah, this is the chestnut bone from Case. I believe at least every place that I've looked has been sold out. Kenny's forcing you out of the into the winter weather. Oh no, not the outdoors. Oh, it does look like Amazon still has a few. Okay, that's good. Chestnut going around $70 for these. I think retail is like around 90. I'm not trying to sell these, but I mean, if this is something that floats your boat, at least you know where to find one with an oval shield. I just think they look fantastic. Now I have gone over this already, cleaned it up, removed that burr that they like to leave on. This thing is sharp as hell now. Can't wait to carry this one in my pocket. But that'll be fun. But that's the first one we got from Chasing Blades. I got another traditional from them, and I got a modern from them as well, and I'll show you that last or towards the end here. People. I do have to say thank you to everybody that has been checking out the videos that I've been putting up, and I can't believe the amount of response I've gotten from especially the Spydercos. Spyderco has to be, I don't know what it is with the Spyderco crowd, but holy crap. They have to have been probably one of the most welcoming crowds ever. Because as soon as I dropped that video, I don't think I've had a video responded to more than my PM, my Paramilitary 3 and my Sage 5 ones. But it's been absolutely great. Plucky! Finally a rodent themed chat. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Talking about right now some of the new pocket knives that I've gotten. The second one I'm going to show you, this one's from Chasing. I didn't get that many this week because again, it's Christmas. I'm broke. So I've got a few, just not as many as I've had in past lives. This one also from Chasing Blades on Whatnot. This one, if I can remember the name, I always muck up the name on this. This is a Bermuda. That's the word I was looking for. Bermuda Greenbone Standard Jig Trapper. Another trapper. This, obviously, as you can see, comes in a rather large case tin. There you got the docks. And here we have the trapper itself. Now, this one I haven't gone over. Not yet, anyway. So you got your standard size trapper again, just like the chestnut bone. This one's got the arrowhead shield on there. Bermuda green, which could use some shining up. And green is one of my favorite colors. Although, oddly enough, I don't normally pursue it when it comes to a lot of knives. And I think it's because a lot of them tend to look rather plain. This one really caught my eye. It's got quite a bit of milk on the sides. Milk being the lighter portions where the dye doesn't quite take to the bone as well. Like I said, an arrowhead shield. And you've got your California clip point blade, your spay blade, and this plastic thing is just a spacer for the little display tin. That comes right out. It will. It should. There we go. California clip blade, spay blade, standard size trapper. I want to shine this one up because it looks a little dull in my eyes. I know if I give it a good sunshine cloth, it'll probably pop even more. That's better. That's much nicer. Gave it a bit of a shine. Try the other side. Yeah, Spydercos always get good. Well, I'm not even thinking the views. It's just the response was Unexpected? I know. See, with Spyderco's, I they always looked weird to me, and I've mentioned that before. They've always looked kind of goofy. But every time I talk to anybody that owned them, they absolutely loved their Spyderco's. I mean, and to the point of where now I don't hear too much about the problems Spyderco's might have. I think the most frequent one are complaints about not liking the pocket clip, which I agree with. I'm not a fan of the pocket clip for a lot of them. And the other complaint I hear a lot about is sometimes they kind of require a little break-in, which isn't too much of a complaint. But they're so quickly dismissed because once all that's taken care of, I hear nothing but praise on these knives. That's why I dove into it finally. Otherwise, I probably would continue to ignore them because I'm just not the biggest fan of their looks, although they're starting to grow on me. So, let's see. That tin keeps shaking. There we go. But this is the Bermuda Green. I don't know. I don't believe this series is limited. It is a stainless steel. It's not a carbon steel. I'm just trying to shine this up. We do have a very slight burr on the edge here. So I'm going to we're going to do some cleaning on this during the stream. But we're going to put this off to the side for now. But I just fell in love with that green. Nice and shiny now with the polish. You prefer the weird shapes. Yeah, you like the uniquely odd. The plain stuff kind of it bores you, is it? Is that what it is? Or you just like it when they're more unique? Yeah, I just thought they were just goofy looking. But like I said, they're growing on me. We are going to go ahead and put this back in the tin for now, but we'll go over, and if you guys haven't seen yet, I know a lot of you guys have, you'll see how I take care of my knives, because I haven't done anything with this knife, unlike the chestnut bone, which I've already cleaned and removed the burr on. This one, we are going to, how did this go in there? I can't remember how this went. I believe, there we go. That's it. We're just going to put this away for now. Neat little tin also. I'm not sure what I'm going to use the tin for. One thing I did notice is these spacers, very, I don't know, they're kind of odd. You have to position them just right. There we go. So nice little collector tin on this from the case. That's again from Chasing Blades. Oops. Let's put that away. I don't know what I'm going to do with the tins. I have like a good deal of tins, cigar cases, or cigar boxes, and other weird boxes from Case. And I want to put these in displays. Some of the cases make really nice displays. This one can go either way. Okay, the other knife I'm going to show you also from Chasing Blades. Speaking of Spyderco, when I got my Spydercos, let me grab them. Like I said, I wasn't too keen on the looks, but because of all the compliments, all the talk about how nice they are, I went ahead and a little bit ago picked up my first PM3 as well as Sage 5. And I've already done videos on these. I've even done a comparison video on these, and they have been they've been absolutely fantastic. Like I've gotten these honed and I've stropped them. I can literally split a hair with either one of these. These are both in Magna Cut Salt series, the PM3 and the Sage 5, both with compression locks. I've whittled hair And I even put a picture of some hair that I had just like sort of bisected with a PM3 and put a photo of that on Instagram. But amazingly sharp. I've used this quite a bit. The Sage 5, not as much. It's just the nature of when I carry them, whether, you know, I have a busy day and whatnot, but both work extremely well. And they've warned me about this, that once you start going in, getting into Spyderco, it's going to sort of get its roots in you. And initially I was like, you know what? I've got my Spydercos. I'm happy. The black one reminds me of Bob's head. There you go. I'm happy. I really like, I really like the ones I have. And when I did get these, my idea was to get the best Spydercos that I could get, that I can use for me. And, you know, if I'm going to dive into Spydercos, I wanted to get essentially the best that I could. And that way that might cut down on the temptation to get like, have like 5 different PM3s or 5 different Sage 5s. And that lasted for all of like half a week. Because Chasing Blades got me a great deal, and I don't have the box right now with me because I've actually been using this quite a bit. Got me a great deal on a Delica 4. And it's another one that I had on my list. This is the new one that I got this week. I got it Monday. This was the one that I was hoping to get in time for last week, but it was just late. Didn't get it until Monday. And since I got it on Monday, there's no way I'm just going to let it sit in the box all week. So I took it out. I did make a video, posted that already. I've been using this quite a bit this week just to try it out and see how it was. If, part of me wanted to check out, is this standard of quality and such going to continue on? Or did I just happen to get really good, 2 really good knives and, was really lucky. And happy to say that I was quite surprised at how much I'm liking this. And it's interesting because this is a lockback knife. So we don't have a compression lock like these are. So they're not as fidgety, although I am able to spider flick this one. And the lockback, like a traditional, like an older lockback style, I can actually close this one-handed. It's not as quick as the compression locks, but it's actually quite doable. Now, this one did require a little break-in like the PM3 did to smooth out the pivot. I did add quite a bit of pivot lube, as well as oiled the spring on the back, cleaned out the well. Not that there was much to really clean out. It was just mainly to add some oil and smooth out the blade movement. It wasn't bad. There was a little bit of grit from the lock, not the pivot. And since I've done all that, cleaned it and oiled it, it's been working absolutely fantastic. Now, this one does come in a different steel. This one is in Spyderco Spy 27 steel, which is proprietary of Spyderco. And it's roughly equivalent to, I believe, S35 VN, S45 VN steel, which is a premium steel, a really good steel. And I wanted to check it out because I wanted to see how well it would hold up during my normal everyday use. So far, it's been absolutely fantastic. Now, oddly, I can get a nice sharp edge on this one, but I've been honing it quite a bit, or stropping it quite a bit. Went from 1 to 0.5 to 1 micron. And while it's insanely sharp, I couldn't get it as hair whittling sharp as these. I don't know if it's because something that I did, or it's just the nature of this type of steel. It is super sharp. I can easily shave with this thing. And in fact, I am nearly out of hair on my arm from shaving hair. and my skin is still dry. But it is still crazy sharp, and it's been holding up pretty well to use without having to like restrop it after every so many boxes. I think just for shits and giggles, I took this and I was breaking down some boxes from shipments that I got at the apartment, namely a ton of candy my girlfriend's been getting. And um, this has been just it's been tanking it. It's like just seriously cutting through cardboard box through cardboard box. I can't remember how many I went through. I haven't even stropped it since, and it's still insanely sharp. So I'm pretty impressed so far with Spyderco's Spy 27 steel. Obviously, time will tell. I've only had these, like this one, I've only had really for about a little, yeah, about a week. These I've had a bit longer, and obviously, time will tell. I'm still gonna put them through quite a bit of use. I'm not a hard user. I'm not like doing crazy stuff with my knives. I'm just like a typical everyday. I'll open packages and things like that, cut cables, cut cordage, things like that every once in a while. But I'm not a particularly hard user, so I'm not putting them through any weird and strange um, like toughness trials or anything. They cost me too much money to get really weird with them. So, uh, but you know, as time moves on, we'll see how it goes. But I've been hearing one of the reasons why I went and got this is one, I got a really good deal on it from Chasing Blades. Two, these are the knives I hear a lot about when it came to Spyderco. And when I decided I was going to jump into Spyderco, I wanted to get, like I said, the best that I could get that I could use, which is why I have certain specifics I follow, like 3-inch or less blades. I wanted Magna Cut. In this case, I wanted to try the Spy 27 steel. I wanted the compression lock, you know, all these little things. And these were the ones that were repeatedly recommended, including the Delica. Oddly enough, even when I was talking about just these two, there was a lot of people that said, grab a Delica. They're awesome knives. And again, with the Spy 27 steel, we finally picked one up, and we'll see how that one goes. Now, have I looked at Spyderco's budget brand yet? Bird. I'm aware of Bird. I have not tried them yet. I have been looking at them. Their budget brand, essentially what Waylon is talking about, is it's owned by Spyderco. They have a little different shape to instead of the regular your standard Spyderco hole. They have it's a little bit more elongated. It goes by the name Bird, BYRD. And otherwise, they're essentially inexpensive Spydercos made with budget-minded materials. I think the material for the steel that I see a lot on a lot of Birds tend to be 8CR13 or 8CR15 MOV steel, which is still, I mean, it's a decent steel. It is a budget steel. It probably won't hold up to like Spy 27, obviously, like Magna Cut or stuff like that. But there's a lot of inexpensive knives that utilize that steel, and I've got a lot of steels or a lot of knives with that steel, especially early on, that I use a lot. Why is my computer going weird? Oh, I'm getting a lot of like notices. There we go. That's better. But I do have a lot of knives that use that steel, and I use them a lot, especially at home. I don't use a lot of my pocket knives that I carry at home. Usually I only use them when I carry them out, with a few exceptions. Like this one, for example, I did use quite a bit at home. But usually I have a bunch of older knives. A lot of them are 8CR, a lot of them 440 or 440C or 420HC that I just keep for home. A lot of times because some of them are so big that I really can't carry them out of the house. So they're just sort of stuck here, but I still want to use them. So yeah, I use them for breaking a lot of stuff down or for household whatever. And while the edges on 8CR don't last particularly long, they're still really easy to maintain. And since I do all my own sharpening, it's I mean, if you want to save some cash, They make great box openers. So yeah, I haven't gotten one from them yet. I haven't gotten a bird yet. I'm debating whether I want to pick one up. You have the budget Delica, the Harrier 2. I'll have to take a look at it. And the reason why I got the Delica, because there's another knife that actually fits the criteria that I'm looking for. That's a little different in looks. It's called the Native 5. In fact, it looks closer to the Sage 5 than the PM3 or the Delica. The Native 5 was another one I was going to look at. But there's a specific reason I decided to pick up the Delica 4 first. And it's why I called the video for this one Immersion Therapy. It's because, again, I always thought that these Spyderco blades just look really strange to me. But I figured if I got another one, they'd grow on me a little bit faster. So I decided to go with the Delica 4 first. And I figure if I just surround myself with Spyderco type blades, I'll get used to them, and I won't be bothered so much by how weird they look. Like I said, they are growing on me though. There's some interesting benefits I found out with these or this profile. This very pointy, long clip point, and what it was is they're actually quite agile. What I mean by agile is, let me grab some paper. What I mean by agile is when it comes to cutting, that thin point that this comes down to, I can I can cut real precise and easy curves with this point that generally larger or more broader blades have difficulty doing. And as you can see there, it was just so easy to do. And not something that, I mean, I'm not saying that other knives can't do that, but it just seemed like it was so much easier. And I had a lot of control over that point to where it just felt like all these little easy curves and cuts were what this was made to do. And it does it quite well, as you saw there. Now, again, I don't think I have the Delica to the same sharpness, but it still remains the same. Yeah, there we go. It's just a very agile point. And that I'm really liking about this profile. Now, the Sage has a much broader point. Not much, but it has a broader point because it's more of a leaf style blade. So while it does still come to a nice fine point, I think it still is a pretty agile blade, but since you've got so much more behind the point, I can feel it, or I can see it where there's a lot more of that paper that I'm kind of bending out of the way as I'm trying to curve around. I mean, still very agile, but it actually feels, cuts like that. If I'm going around things, if I'm cutting around stuff, this profile is really, really nice. Yeah, that's the other thing with Spyderco. Because I remember reading a comment, and I don't mean to turn this into a Spyderco commercial. These are my first Spydercos. They've been really impressive. They've been super impressive. But somebody was talking about how they had their own Delica, and they've had it for a very long time, and it's finally developed some chips, and they were looking into getting something like a new knife. Now, first of all, depending on the chip, those could be very easy to fix. It depends on how big the chip is. He said some minor chipping, so maybe pretty easy, as long, it just takes some elbow grease if you're willing to do it on your own. But he was looking into other knives. There was this comment about it, and the only thing, like, he'll look at other knives, but then he mentioned how he kept going back to look at the Delicas again because he really liked his Delica. He just wasn't sure if the cost was worth it. And yes, these knives can be pretty pricey. Okay, I mean, especially when you look at some of the materials, like this is FRN, which in a lot of cases tends to be seen as a very budget minded material. Yet you're looking at you've got FRN on like the Sage 5, which is roughly about just under $150 knife. Usually around that price point, you're seeing stuff like G10, Micarta, even in some cases titanium. Not, you don't see FRN too much unless you're looking at Spyderco. But the thing with Spyderco is they've been in the business for a while, and I've done a little research. I've looked into them for a bit. I'm not an expert, but from what I've seen, I mean, Spyderco has been in the business for a long time, and if I remember correctly, started out as a sharpening business. I like sharpening equipment, things like that. I don't remember the exact specifics, but I know how to do with sharpening. And so they've been in the business for a very long time. They know their metallurgy. They know, and when I mean metallurgy, I mean they've come up with a few of their own proprietary steels, like the Spy 27. But they know how to make the best use of these metals, and that includes making sure they have a really good heat treatment, because heat treatment is a big part of how well a metal is going to perform. You've got the metal itself, obviously. You've got heat treat. If it's not heat treated correctly, a good metal can I don't, what's the word I was looking for? If it's not heat treated properly, a good metal act like crap. And also like edge geometry and things like that. All these things go into making a good knives. Go into making a good knife, and they know their stuff. And I mentioned that in my response because I believe in a lot of cases that's what you're paying for. You're paying for their experience. You're going to get good steels. You're going to get good heat treats. You're going to get attention to detail, because so far now I've only got 3. These have been fantastic. Hopefully it's not just a fluke, but these have been utterly fantastic. And now whether you're willing to pay that amount, that higher premium price for that, and that's really up to you. Do I think they're worth it? I think they're worth it if I can get them on a decent sale. So far, I mean, I really can't say much. These knives have been absolutely fantastic, and I know these, when not on sale, especially the PM3, can be a bit pricey. But I am getting Magna Cut. I'm getting a good Magna Cut, DLC in this case, G10 scales. This one's Magna Cut as well. With, I don't know what the hardware is made of. Somebody told me they might be LC200N. I don't know. All I know is that they are highly anti-corrosive insides to complement the Magna Cut. I mean, it is part of their Salt series. And the Spy 27 is on par with some premium steels as well. So, yeah, I believe, I mean, with knowing that they've got a good heat treat, knowing how they know how to treat their stuff, and good metals and attention to detail, I think they're worth it. Now, the way I say things, there's a lot of knives that I don't think are really worth the price, other than like art pieces. I don't have too many knives that are very expensive. I think the most expensive knives I have, there's one from Case that I have that's almost 300. I've got like 2 or 3 knives, like modern knives, that are close to the $300 range, but I'm talking like 1 or 2. But that's it. And I've thought about price points on a lot of knives as well, and I think a lot of it has to do with just how, it has to do a lot with the company and how they do their stuff. And Spyderco knows their shit. So yeah, I think they can be worth it, and that goes along with their budget brand too. I mean, why wouldn't they apply the same standards to their budget brand? I mean, yeah, they're using more budget minded materials, less expensive materials. But from what I've heard with the Bird series, now this is what I've heard. Again, I don't have a Bird, so I can't really speak from experience, my own experience. But from what I've heard of the Bird series, they're pretty darn good knives. So yeah, I think they're pretty worth it. Now I have one last one. Let me check to see if UPS made a delivery real quick, because I know there's probably going to be I'm probably going to have another delivery. I'm hoping I have another delivery while I'm still streaming. I just hope I have it early enough that I can show you guys what I got and not have to worry about waiting too long for the package to like acclimate to temperature. So let me log into UPS real quick and see if they have any new information on my stuff. Gosh darn it. Where's my advanced tracking? So I did get one from Amazon, and I've been holding on to it because I took it in shortly before I started my stream. Nope, they have not delivered it yet. It is still out for delivery. Okay. Do you live by a Dairy Queen? Okay, so still waiting on my UPS delivery. Hopefully we'll get that soon. I've got one more knife that I wanted to show you. This one I wasn't sure about, because I have my own feelings about knives like these. So let me close these real quick. But I got it for a specific reason, because I myself was curious on a few things. Now, I've heard a lot of talk recently, a lot of discussion recently on clones and counterfeit knives. Now, my personal opinion, I'm not a big fan of really either. I'm definitely not a fan of counterfeit. Personally, I think, counterfeit's technically illegal. I mean, you're stealing logos from a legitimate business and passing them off on, my opinion, cheap crap. But I was reading a lot of these discussions, and one of the biggest things I noticed about this whole clone and counterfeit issue, because a lot of this stuff happens on there's a lot of it floating around like TikTok, like the TikTok shops. There's been a lot of worry about it, and not just even pocket knives, but there was somewhat recently, a big thing about shoes. There's like a huge shoe, what's the word I'm looking for again? Community on Whatnot, for example. There's a huge shoe community on Whatnot, and other things. Labubus was another thing. Okay, and reading all these discussions, obviously I'm focused on the pocket knife end of things. I noticed one major thing, and it seems like there's a lot of confusion on what a clone is versus a counterfeit. And they're very, very different things. But I see a lot of people using them either interchangeably or just completely not knowing what either meant. And a lot of people thinking they just actually meant the same thing. And of course, I wanted to double check my own information, so I did my own little deep dive and stuff like that. And it's actually kind of simple. It's kind of surprising how little people look into it. But you have clones, which are technically, they're legal. people, there are clones everywhere. And what a clone is something that's made very similarly to an existing item. And I'm going to use Spyderco as an example because Spyderco gets cloned a lot. And the main thing about clones is a lot of times, while they have a very similar, and it's very important to use that word similar look because it's not the same. They have a very similar look. A lot of times they'll have little things changed to differentiate them a little bit. But one of the biggest important parts is that the company that makes the clone doesn't hide the fact that they're making a clone. They'll create a clone. Again, sometimes they'll change a few things, and they don't hide it. They have their own brand on it. And they know they're selling a clone, and they're essentially they even go so far as telling you this is a clone. A counterfeit is something different, where what they're doing is they are mimicking to the best of their ability a legitimate item, and also a lot of times they are stealing the logos. And what I mean by that is they will create an item, and more often than not, with inferior materials, take the logos that are on the legitimate item and place those same logos on the counterfeit item and selling them as, selling them and giving the impression they're legitimate items. I hope I'm explaining that correctly. They are copying down to the logo and selling them as legitimate, as the legitimate thing, when they are definitely not. And the big thing with that is, first of all, that itself is highly illegal to do. That's essentially like IP theft. There's free range. I said what you said with it, like free reign designs, which is really, it's really neither, like you said, because I guess you could say that no one really, it got to a point like maybe the design, the patent was no longer valid for whatever reason and things like that. So now everybody can make that same thing. That's different. I don't see that as being here or there in this particular argument. But the big thing with clones versus counterfeits is counterfeits are used to deceive people. People are being deceived with counterfeits, whether it's the end buyer, whether it's a distributor. The whole purpose of a counterfeit is really to deceive for monetary value or for some type of value. Clones, again, they're different. They're not stealing logos or anything like that. They're not trying to pass it off as the real thing. They're open to the fact that, yeah, these, not this one. They're open to the fact of saying that their stuff is a clone. They're not trying to deceive you into anything. The purpose of clones is it's their attempt at offering a product at a lot of times at a reduced price, with more budget-minded materials, and again, no deception in that fact. Excuse me. And sometimes I've heard of some clones even being better than the real thing. But that's aside from that. But that's the biggest difference, is they're not trying to deceive. Okay. Yeah, the big thing is the misuse of logos and like proprietary or patented things, and trying to deceive the public into buying that as a legitimate item. Clones are just, this is a clone. I'm not saying this one is. A clone is something they're not trying to deceive the public. They're just trying to offer another option that just happens to look really close to another one. And the reason why I preface this is because I wasn't sure about this, because obviously I'm not a fan of counterfeits. I think counterfeit does so much more harm than good, and is a definite problem. Cloning, I'm kind of on. I prefer, like, if I'm going to get a Spyderco, I want a Spyderco. I'm going to get a Spyderco. If I want a Kaiser, I'm going to get a Kaiser. If I want, the concept, I want concept, etc. I don't want a clone of it. I want the real thing. Now, that being said, like, Spyderco does have their own budget brand, the bird. Concept, for example, has their own budget brand, Tenable. And I don't really see that as cloning, because they're actually owned by the same company. Which I think cloning, you also have to be a different company separate from the company that you're cloning. But again, no deception. And I had been thinking about this for a long time, especially now that I got into Spyderco, because a lot of people mention this knife. And in the interest of trying to figure out and see and learn a little bit more, I went against what how I normally feel about it, and I picked up a Ganzo. I've heard a lot of stuff about Ganzo. They do clones of a lot of knives, primarily Spyderco and Benchmade. They do a lot of clones of. Now, they do have some stuff of their own design, from what I understand. I haven't looked that deep into the company, but they're open to they're again, there's that whole non-deception thing. They know they're making clones of well-known knives. They have their own branding. And this is the one that actually, this one just literally came in today from Amazon. This is called the Firebird, Ganzo Firebird. I don't see any other markings, really. And I got it. They're really inexpensive. I think this one is maybe $17 roughly. Open. But the reason why I got it is because what they were cloning. Now, let's see. In the box, we've got actually kind of a nice little, what's this, a microfiber cloth bag? We got the knife. We got some unedible candy. So what else is in here? Purchased, 1-year warranty available or provided for all models. So they have a 1-year warranty, and then that would be it. Let's see here. Laser, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. So I went ahead and picked up a Ganzo because I wanted to see for myself, because it's easy enough to talk about it, just from everything I've read or everything I hear about from everybody else. It's another thing to actually get one in hand, and so that way I can actually speak from experience. Now, again, I just got this today, so in terms of experience with them, it begins now. Okay. This one is the Firebird. I know there's a number somewhere. F759M. Oh, this is marked up a lot. And it's a clone of, I believe, the Delica 4. And we can see that here. Now you can see, like I was saying before, they do make some design changes to it. The texturing on the scales is close, but different. You can see the patterning is different. The way the little squares are raised are different. Oval's a little bigger. They have their own logo. They're not trying to pass this off as the real thing. We have a mid-back lock. we have a 4 position pocket clip. Now they have the same pocket clip that I hate. So if you notice on my Delica 4, I did swap. One of the first things I did was I swapped out the pocket clip for something deep carry. Forgot to mention that. Swapped it out with something deep carry. They have a pocket clip similar to the original Delica 4, which I personally do not like these pocket clips. One, they're not deep carry. Two, I've had them pinch stuff. Three, I'm just not fond of them. The thumb holes on them are different. Oh, there is something I am noticing of real interest to me because I made a comment about it when I was making my video for the Spyderco. I see a couple changes. Yeah, the hole's different. The jimping's different. The shape has some differences to it, especially at the pivot, and that's what I'm going to get into. Also, the way they have, I'm forgetting what this is called now. On the blade, there's some differences that I can see on the way. What's the word I'm looking for? My words are leaving my brain. Frick, this part of the blade, I forget. Okay, well, either way, that's different. Let's see here. So very stiff. Now, again, my Delica didn't exactly snap out like, like say my PM3 or the Sage 5 did when I first got it. It did need a little break, and I did add some pivot oil. I can already feel I'm going to have to do the same. I can close this one-handed. It doesn't have the snap that the Delica did. And I'll probably do a much more in-depth video on these two. But I wanted to show you guys what I got. This is, again, the Firebird, because I wanted to compare. I wanted to be able, when I get into any other discussions on these, I wanted to be able to speak not only from everything that I've researched, I want to be able to speak from experience, of having owned one and actually compared it to. And so far, initially, it doesn't look too bad. There's some rough spots that I'm seeing on the Gonzo. I mean, it's not like, oh my god, it's ruined it. Just things like, for example, on their FRN, I can still see some points of contact where either, the connectors where they would snap it off, either a frue or something, or not frue, sprue, or something like that, haven't been entirely smoothed out. Even on the inside, blade is not, well, until I moved it, now it's centered. It was a little off. I moved it center, and again, it's got a bit of friction going on that I'm not quite sure yet if it's the pivot or just the backlock or a combination of both. I won't be able to find out until I work with it a little bit, oil it up, and maybe clean it out. Yeah, it doesn't return exactly back to center on that, so it's just a hair off. What kind of screw is that? Where did I put my toolkit? Let's take a look. I kind of want to see, now that I'm staring at it, I kind of want to see if I can fix it. That's not it. Is it a T8? I'm hoping it's a T8. It's a T8. Okay, so that's a good thing. I'm wondering if it might just be a little, I mean, it doesn't feel loose, but sometimes you can fix the centering if you either tighten or loosen the pivot a little bit. And I think they no. Okay, if they did Loctite the pivot, I overcame it pretty easily. It's still not returning entirely true. It is a T8. I don't know if I'm actually tightening or if it's just spinning in its socket. Yeah, I can't tell. I think it might just be spinning in the pivot. All right. Well, I'll take a much closer look at that one when I do the comparison video and had a chance to go over it and use it. We'll probably go over cleaning it at the very least during the live. So that might help. A moderator buzzer, what? What? Did I miss somebody? Sorry, I was like deep into it. Need a 5,000 word review about Gonzo by then. Well, I'll make my video. I don't know if I'll have 5,000 or 5,000 words in my video on the tube, but I do talk a lot. So, the Incredible Hulk. Do I have any suggestions for a high quality gravity knife? Looking to add one to your collection. Have been eyeing the Riat XO clone or otherwise. I'm okay with either. Riat, you can't go wrong with. I've heard amazing things with the Riat. However, I don't have one, and I can't. Gravity knives in general, I can't speak from experience. I don't own a gravity knife. However, Wayland suggested Remet knives. They make a really, really good one. I believe they're less expensive than the Riat. And but I've heard really good things about the Remets. So I would give them a look. And those are the only ones that I'm familiar with in terms of gravity knives are the Riat and the Remet. I don't know too many other manufacturers when it comes to gravity knives because a lot of places tend to ban them. I don't know why. But yeah, a lot of states or locations tend to ban them. But definitely check out Remet if you're looking into gravity knives. I mean, you really can't go wrong with either. And I'm just going by everything that I've heard and everything that I've watched in my own video or from others' videos in terms of gravity knives. I don't own one yet. I would like to get my hands on one eventually. I just know that they can be kind of pricey. There you go. So try drawing a dot and opposite in the pivot. Well, yeah, I'll do that eventually. I just don't want to. I don't have a marker next to me. Oddly enough, usually I live with an artist. There should be markers everywhere. All right. Anyway, now that's the last one I got today. Hopefully UPS will come in and I'll get my other knife that I've been waiting for. That was supposed to be here yesterday. I hope they get here early enough to where I can actually open it today. But that's the Gonzo Firebird. I'm gonna do, like I said, a video on the Gonzo itself, and then comparing it with the actual Spyderco. Like I said, I've just heard a lot of stuff about the Gonzos. There's been a lot of people that really like them. Other differences. Actually, before I forget, I believe. Yeah, 440C steel on this because they are using much more budget-minded materials. So 440 steel, I can't speak of the material or the steel that's used for the insides, like the spring, the screws, and everything. But 440 steel, and I do have a lot of knives that utilize 440 steel. Actually, I got a lot of Rough Riders, which are very inexpensive knives, but I've used them a lot and they've held up. They don't keep their edge very long, but they're not overly difficult to maintain. So it's a minor inconvenience. I like to sharpen my stuff. I like to do my own sharpening and honing, so that never really bothered me. If you're not one that enjoys doing their own sharpening, you're probably not. You're probably better off getting something that can hold its edge a lot longer. Oh, this is the difference that I was talking about. Because this is one thing that I kind of wish the Spyderco did have. I've made note of Now, first of all, it's very comfortable in a hand. But oddly enough, they didn't put a finger choil in here like they did the PM3, which I love on the PM3. The Gonzo has it. They put a little choil here. Now, the ramp up on the back or on the spine isn't nearly as big as the Spyderco. It's a lot more flattened out. But they have the choil there, which I do like. Instead of the choil on the Spyderco, I kind of rest my finger on this little, on the pivot, like a little shelf. And it's still very comfortable, even without the finger choil. But I would have preferred the choil. I do like the ramp up better on the Spyderco. But yeah, no, we'll do some comparisons, and I'll do some further looks into this at a later time. Put my own video out on it. But there you go. That's the Gonzo. We're just go ahead and I'll leave this out for now because I know I'm going to go over that and clean it and stuff probably. So that's technically it for all the new knives that I got out for this week. Excuse me, with exception to the knife that I'm still waiting on. Hopefully that'll be in later today and we can show that off. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is, first of all, let's clean this thing. I want to oil and clean that. And let me get my cleaning materials and all that fun stuff. And while I'm doing that, and I was going to clean and oil one of the cases as well, namely the Bermuda. So while we're doing this, the other thing that I was going to go over, hey, Graham, Gary, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. And no problem, Hulk. Glad Waylon was there to see that. Yeah, I have to turn my head to look at chat all the time. And sometimes I miss stuff, especially when I'm in the midst of like talking about a knife. Oh, thanks. Really appreciate it. I picked up a Gonzo, if you missed it, because I wanted it. I've heard a lot about these Gonzos. I know they're clones of the Spydercos, and I wanted to be able to do a comparison and speak from experience and not just from what other people say. So I actually got this just today, and hopefully within the next week or so, I'll have a video out. I want to have some time to compare the two and really give them a once-over on the Gonzo. I mean, already I can tell you right now, you have lesser expensive materials, much more budget-minded materials. I don't know much about Gonzo in terms of how they heat treat, where they get their materials from, how they're put together, or anything like that. I need to do more research on that. But I do know they make a lot of clones of Spyderco, and they make a lot of clones of Benchmade. They do have some of their own designs as well, from what I understand. But this is my first look at them. I'm not normally one into getting clones. I prefer the real thing, I guess you could say. I'm not talking about counterfeits. Counterfeits are, I'll say it right now, they're ass. They're not doing us any favors with counterfeits. But I wanted to be able to speak from experience, so I picked this one up. And do an actual comparison of my own. So that way, if somebody asks, I'm not just talking out of my ass. So I have no thoughts yet on whether I like it yet or not. I'm just making my initial observations are lesser expensive materials. The finishing is not as fine as on the Spyderco, as evident on the FRN. And I'm kind of curious as to what other things they changed in order to get the price so low, because these are considerably less expensive than your Spyderco. And when I say considerably, I'm like, I mean, this thing was like, what, $17? Holy crap. Where did I put my other cloth? There you are. But again, This way I can speak from experience and actually somewhat know what I'm talking about. Okay. So let's work that in. You have 4 Spyderco knives, Urban Delica 4, Tenacious, Military 2. These are my first Spydercos. I've been collecting for a very long time, but these have been my first Spydercos. I got these about 2 weeks ago, both from the Salt series, the PM3 and the Sage 5, both MagnaCut, and then just last week I picked up a Delica 4. And I got this just today because I want to make a comparison because I've heard a lot about the Gonzos and their clones and stuff like that. And I wanted to see, okay, so people talk a lot about these. I can't really say anything since I don't have one. And since they were very inexpensive, I figured I'd pick one up. And I picked the one up that closely resembled the Delica 4. And I'm just going over and cleaning it now. In the meantime, yeah, if there's any questions you have on anything that I've got currently showing or my collection, I was going to go over, and after I clean these 2 knives, go over some really neat gift ideas. I think if you've got other knife lovers in your household or something for yourself, like gift ideas for those people. Some, not necessarily just knives, but other stuff that they might like, stocking stuffers and things like that. Because I can suggest knives all day. I can talk knives all day. But I haven't done a lot of covering of things like, other stuff that people might like, say, in their, as a stocking stuffer, or, somebody that already has a lot of knives and you're not sure what to get them now because they've got nearly every knife you look at. What else can you get somebody like that? And I've got some suggestions, so stick around. We'll talk about those once I'm done clearing this out. Okay, so that's smoothed out quite a bit. I don't know how I feel about the thumb hole. It's more in shape to the thumb holes that I have on a lot of other moderns, but okay, now I'm shaving the hell out of my thumbnail. I can write it up easily enough. All right, we'll just see how that goes. Let that work in. And that one is for the most part done. We're going to go ahead and clean my Bermuda. On the Edge, how you doing? Been lurking for about 30 minutes. Appreciate it. Oh, thank you. I just love talking about this stuff. I've been collecting for a while. And before anybody says anything, I do not feel like I'm an expert in anything. I'm still learning shit every day. What you're hearing are just my observations, what I've gone through with my own collection, what I like to collect. I'm learning things every day, and I'm just sharing my observations. And part of that is to also cross-check myself. What are my observations in comparison to everybody else? Am I missing something? Information that can change my own perspective and stuff like that. But that's why I do the lives, because I have fun doing that. I love discussing this stuff. All right, so this is the Bermuda that I showed earlier. This is one of the new ones I got this last week. Bermuda Green from Case. And this one I haven't gone over. So we're going to go over this now, give this one a good cleaning and oiling. And welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. Mad, how you doing? Gray Clip Point Cold Steel S35 VN code 4 for $60 is a good one. Midway USA. I haven't seen Midway for a while. I used to when I was doing a lot of gun stuff. Lucas Gun Oil. I have, for my firearms, I use CPL. For my knives, I like to use, there are 2 things I like to use. And I know this is kind of pricey. I like to use KPL for my pivots. And a lot of times for my traditionals, I'll use camellia oil. And this one has a hair on it. There we go. This one, it's a Japanese oil, made for knives, but food safe. This one is Kurobara, 100% pure camellia oil. And this has lasted me a good long time. I'm like halfway through the bottle. And I've got lots of case knives. And I pour this stuff like a swimming pool down there. And that's what I like to use a lot. Reminds me a lot of yeah, that's a nickname a lot of these knives get, grandpa knives. I just got into I used to collect primarily just moderns. I've had a few knives like this, but I really got into collecting traditionals because they come in different patterns. This is called a trapper. It's a two-bladed knife. You got a clip point and you got a spay blade. This is a full size, what's called a trapper, and it's called a pattern. There's other patterns, like a mini trapper, which is essentially the same thing except a little smaller. You have a Sodbuster Junior pattern. This one's my case Sodbuster Junior. Sodbuster Juniors are slip joint, have one blade. This one happens to be Squirrel from case, if it'll focus. There you go. And guess why I got this one? And they just come in so many different styles and materials that I have a hard time not collecting them because a lot of them look super fantastic. I even got to the point of where I was customizing my own. This one I've already cleaned. This one is another trapper. This one is done in a chestnut bone. So the chestnut colored bone. If I remember correctly, the bone they use are from the shin bones from cows. In some cases, they might use unique types of bone. But this is a chestnut bone from case with an oval shield. That's that there. Again, it's a trapper. It's got a clip point blade as well as a spay blade. I just really like trappers because they're super handy in my opinion. You got two blades. One starts to get dull. Switch to the other one and you can just keep cutting. And I just love the color on this. This one is a Bermuda, also made of bone. This one's dyed green, Bermuda green, with an arrowhead shield. And they call this standard jigging. Jigging, when you hear the term jigging, it's the texture that they put on the bone. And they'll have a lot of different types of jigging. This one they call standard jigging. There's like corn cob jigging. There's peach seed jigging, which is supposed to resemble a peach seed. And all this. There's so many things, so many varieties of traditional style knives. You can go down a massive rabbit hole. And I have collected so many of these traditional knives that it's admittedly, even I'm starting to think it might be a little ridiculous. Dusty, how you doing? Knife shop in Pennsylvania on a back road that has everything. It's family owned. They can sharpen just about everything. Pennsylvania. You remember the name? I know one of the bigger ones. I think they own Rough Riders, SMKW, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, but I don't know where they're at. I could be wrong. My boss actually sent me a picture. He had gone to Smoky Mountain Knife Works, their actual store. He was trying to make me jealous, but their internet wasn't working. He was going to try to put me on a FaceTime call and just basically brag that he was walking around Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Oh, God. Get me some Mad Yoko wax. Wax. I like to use wax. Also, when it comes to some of my knives, mainly my fixed blades. This is what I have. I have the lights blocking that. I use Wicked Wax. Mainly because I ended up getting a lot of this stuff from like winning things. So I haven't really bought much wax because I have so much of this wax on hand. I'm still going through. Holy crap! I dropped something. I'm still going through this little tiny canister of wax. I use this to protect a lot of my fixed blades, or a lot of my Damascus steel. Also, you'll have to excuse me. I'm dropping a whole lot of stuff there. There we go. But we're gonna go over and clean this case knife, and I am going to. First of all, what do I do with my little cloth? I don't want to get too much oil on my mat. So we're going to do this. I keep waiting and checking to see if my shipment comes in. But I will check out Mad Yoko. Or I hope I'm pronouncing it. How did you say? Oh, Mad Yoko is in the chat. Hiya. I will check your stuff out. I'm always interested in trying new stuff. No, and like I said, I like using that. God dang it, what's it called? Wicked wax, but that's only I've got a crap load of it. I don't even know. I don't even remember how I got a lot of it. I think a lot of it was just from giveaways and stuff. And so it's the stuff lasts for a while. Like I don't know if I can use it all up. But yeah, I'll definitely check it out. My UPS is being slow today. At least they're bringing it here and not dropping it off at the UPS store. So hopefully I'll still be able to show you the new knife that I got. I hope. But okay, let's get back to this. We are going to, I keep opening it up. I like to, when it comes to traditional knives, one thing that I learned to do, and I do all the time, the first thing I do when I get a traditional knife is I pretty much just drown it in oil. And again, I like to use, for these, I like to use the camellia oil. And I'll run some swabs over it. Now, the swabs that I have are also Wicked Wax swabs. Oh, no, they're KPL swabs. Sorry about that. They're KPL swabs, which are pretty expensive. But I've got one thing that you can use is you can buy like a huge bundle of, I guess they're like, they look almost exactly the same. But I think they're used for like mascara. And you can buy them in huge bundles for a fraction of the cost. And they work just as well. Other things people like to use when I'm doing this, when I'm cleaning a traditional, they like to use toothpicks also. I know Mike at Chasing Blades likes to use toothpicks. I mean, he has them all over, on hand all the time. I've used toothpicks. They work really well, especially if you flatten the tip to act like a little brush. The only reason why I don't use them all too often, though, is if you're not careful, sometimes you can leave a little bit of the toothpick in there if you're not watching what you're doing, they'll break off. You try Yoko? You tell I'll give them a try. I will give them a try. Like I said, I like hearing suggestions because I'm still learning. I mean, I might have been collecting for a long time, but I give no illusion like I know everything. I know a fraction probably of what's out there. Then I'm talking a small fraction of what's out there. Hell, the Wicked Wax I wasn't even familiar with until like middle of this year. Case themselves, I have a lot of Rough Rider, but I didn't even really start collecting case until this year. And my first Spydercos, I got those just a couple weeks ago. Most of my collection tends to be. I've got a lot of Civivi. I've got a lot of Kaiser, Migaron, Concept, Remet. Concept and Remet have been absolutely fantastic. A couple Ketuos. I've got a North Mountain blade. Lots of case now. Some SRMs. Some QSP. A good deal of QSP, I guess. Probably a lot that I'm failing to mention. Country Knives. Intercourse PA, 1978. A little far from me. I hope if they have a website, I will check them out. Country Knives. I wonder. I do a lot of stuff on Whatnot as well. Although primarily, to be quite honest, when it comes to Whatnot, a lot of what I've been getting has been coming from Chasing Blades. Chasing Blades is a seller on Whatnot, and we've developed a pretty decent relationship, I'd like to think. And they've been really good about getting me really good prices. Primarily case knives from them. They've had some modern knives. I've got some Best Tech from them. Best Tech's another maker I have a few of. In fact, some of my more rarer knives are from them and are Best Techs. Namely, I've got like two that are first runs and serialized from Best Tech that you can't get the colors anymore. or at least they're very hard to get now. And I got those from Chasing Blades. But we've become, I'd like to say, become pretty good friends. And that's where I get a lot of knives. Like this came from Chasing Blades. The chestnut that you saw came from Chasing Blades. Even the Spydercos, they got me a good deal on the Spydercos. The Delica, the PM3, and the CH5 I got from Chasing Blades. They had a special show. They don't normally carry Spydercos, but they can generally get them or get almost anything if you ask. They might not have it on hand, but they can generally order it for you. But yeah, I do a lot of stuff on Whatnot. I'm a deal hunter on Whatnot. If you're not familiar with what Whatnot is, it's a auction app. They do live auctions. Obviously, there's knives, but there's a lot of stuff. My girlfriend has been winning a lot of candy. We have had boxes and boxes of candy. Like, oh my God, that she has been winning constantly on giveaways and stuff. And she's bought some. We've given a lot away. We actually just dropped a bunch of it to the local pantry. And we still have at least 10 boxes. And I'm talking, when I say boxes, I'm talking about like large USPS parcel boxes that are bigger than my mat and just as deep. It's pretty crazy. But she likes winning them, so. All right, we got the well on that one oiled. We will work on this one. And actually, it just occurred to me, I didn't remove the burr on this. I might not bother, because this is not one that I think I like this one as a display. I do make use of most of my knives, but admittedly, there are some knives I do keep as display just because they're pretty. And I have a lot of knives. I have a serious collection problem. So I know I'll never get to the point of using every knife in my collection. Some knives, like the squirrel knives that I've got, specifically because they're squirrel knives, I just keep them because sentimental value. And in my case, with the squirrels, it's a channel thing. So I'm not really using any of those, but I like to keep them as like little display things. I've collected, as far as I know, every squirrel knife I could find. I think I might be missing maybe one fixed blade that's actually rather cheap and inexpensive. Christmas thing got canceled due to several inches of snow. Oh, holy crap. Okay, yeah, better safe than sorry, man. Their website is dog slow, but they're good folks, so that's good. You're at the point where you only want very specific knives. Yeah, I'm starting to become picky as well, which is probably a weird thing to say, because I think it's because when I started my channel, and this channel just started this year. I know I went through a giant thing of just buying a ton of knives, partially for content. I have a lot of older knives I still haven't even done videos on, but a lot of people just want to see stuff on new things. So, I've been picking up a lot of new stuff and concentrating my videos on that. All right, so that looks good. Remove some of the excess oil from that. I think this is good for now. Normally, what I would do is, for some reason, case knives, a lot of times they have a very small burr that once I remove these things become razor sharp. I'm not going to bother with it right now. It just requires a little bit of honing, and then I could probably shave with this thing. But it's fine for now. I'm just going to keep it in this case until I can find a way to display. But as long as it's oiled and everything, then I'm happy, because at least I know it's protected. It's just stainless steel, so I'm not too worried about corrosion, but even stainless steel will corrode if you're not careful. So there we go. And we'll just put this back in the case for now. I just want to make sure I get it oiled and whatnot. Just saw the forecast. New England about to get bare. Oh my God. Is it really that bad? I'm like looking out my window. It's just gray. I don't need to be getting hit with this stuff. Dealt with this enough of this already. Oh, my poor car's gonna get buried. How did this go in there? I think it went this way. Okay. There we go. So that's cleaned and ready to... Oop. Don't have it all the way in there. Now, I was debating whether I wanted to customize another one of these, but I don't know if we'll have time. But yeah, I got really into the traditional knife thing because just all the pretty materials that they utilize in making these knives. I did too much. Like the bone, the buffalo horn, things like that. They're just super cool. There we go. I'm gonna put that away for now. But yeah, they come in so many patterns. I used to try to collect all the patterns that I could find, and then I realized that was just plain futile. Because there's so many patterns that they come in that I'm going close to broke already as it is. Collecting what I like. Like another pattern, if you're not familiar with traditional knives, this is called a copper lock. This one's an amber bone. I don't know what kind of jigging it is, but it's an amber bone. This one is carbon steel, so it's not a stainless steel. And this one also has a Warncliffe blade. Normally they'll have a clip point, but this one's a lockback. Copper lock copper lock pattern. I actually carry this one quite a bit. This one is called a Barlow, but this one's a more modern style Barlow because it's made in Rich Light and G10, and it has an S35 VN steel blade as opposed to Case's True Sharp, which is, I think, their version of the 420 HC, I believe. So this is a more modern take of their traditional knives. This is also made by Case. I love. They're called Crossroad knives because they use that S35 VN steel, and they use more modern materials, and they don't use pins. They use screws. On most traditional knives, they're pinned in. These have screws, so you can actually do some adjustment to them if you really need to. Not that you really have to. But these are amazingly awesome and handy knives to carry around. I made a video already once where I always have, there are two knives I always carry with me. I will carry a modern, like say I'll carry my, just for an example, PM3. I'll always carry a modern, and then I'll always carry a traditional. So I'm always having a modern with me. I always have a traditional on me. This one's another Crossroads, except this is a Sodbuster Junior pattern. Same S35 VN steel, except blue jean micarta handle. Also a slip joint. And I carry them in these little leather sheaths or sleeves or slips, actually. And I'll always carry a double like that. Something modern, something traditional. And part of the reason is because the traditionals actually end up doing most of the grunt work. Stephen Parks, how you doing? Up, have a good one, Gary. Thanks for coming by. Master Sergeant, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Just talking about knives. Those who know carry Spyderco. Yes, I've been enjoying it. I don't know if you noticed, but I think you were here before. You saw I got the two, the PM3 and the Sage 5, and I just this last week added the Delica 4 to my collection. And I've been using this. I've been trying to use it. I changed the pocket clip on it because I really hate that pocket clip. But I've been really liking the Delica 4. And also for comparison, because I've heard a lot about these, I picked up a Gonzo. And I want to do a comparison. I want to take a look because they're the clones of the Spyderco. I hear a lot about them. Finally had to grab one just because of curiosity, and so that way I can speak from experience. But I just got that in today, so I can't really say too much about it. So it was one of those, okay, I hear a lot about it. Let's see what it's all about. How does it compare? So hopefully I'll have a video of those coming soon. Case CV, classic carbon steel blend similar to older, yes, 1096 based alloys. Very easy to sharpen. They don't hold their edge very long, but they're very easy to maintain. And if you're into knives that develop a patina, then that's the way you want to go with case, because they can, as long as you take care of them very well, they can develop a really nice looking patina, and they just have a really awesome look to them. Obviously mine's newer, so it really hasn't developed any patina to it. Although I have been using it quite a bit. I'm talking about that copper lock one. Where was that again? I put it down. This one here, this amber bone. But I love this knife. It's just such a handy knife, and it looks fantastic. I like to carry that one with me. There's a lot I like to carry with me. Okay, so what I was going to talk about next, because I didn't have that much, and god dang it, UPS, I wish you'd get here, because I have another knife that was supposed to be here yesterday. I really wanted to share with you guys. It's on its way. It's not here yet. Bastards. Okay, so what I was going to go on for the rest of the stream was we were going to talk about possible gift ideas for people that are into pocket knives, if you know somebody that's into pocket knives. And I decided that I was going to stray a little. I mean, I could easily talk about knives that are great gift ideas. Okay. And if you wanted to go into that, case knives, if they're into traditionals, you can pick literally almost any case if you know what they're into. There's a lot of different knives out there at varying price points that obviously make awesome gifts. I've talked about some of my favorites last year, like Migron knives, Ketawo. The Spydercos were a big surprise at how much I enjoyed using them. They're a little more on the pricier side, but like if you're looking for inexpensive knives, under $30, hands down, probably Civivi's Mini Praxis and the Migron, what was it called? Gosh darn it, I can't remember the name of it. I mentioned Migron, I can't remember the name of it. Ugh, where did I put it? I have my cases friggin' everywhere. And I was just staring. Here it is. Frick, what was this called? Made by Migron, also about $30. And of course they don't mark it. But it's also D2 steel. Personally, I like this one a little better than the Mini Praxis is great. But I like this one a little better because it has the crossbar lock, aluminum scales, D2, coated D2 steel. I'm going to have to look at my stuff because I'm a moron and I have a bad problem with remembering names. Like, seriously bad problem. My brain does not function like a normal brain. But I know I did a video. That's not it. I did a video on this one. I just can't remember the darn name of it. The sad part is I really like this knife. Norsa. That's it. It's the Norsa. Hold on. Let me see if I pull this stuff up, because making sure I don't get any information right on it. But I'm pretty sure I was on point with, again, D2 steel on this one. Dual thumb studs, crossbar lock, reversible inset pocket clip, which is really nice. And it's just a really nice feeling, feels great in the hand, decent materials. I mean, for the price, like $30. I mean, this one's giving the Mini Praxis a run for its money. And the Mini Praxis is a knife that I've carried probably the longest. Now, I haven't carried it very often since getting a lot of my other knives, but in the past, it's probably one of my most carried knives ever. And you can get these for under $30. This one is done in G. Ooh, some scratches on there. G10. I've used this a lot, and it's just a simple liner lock, rear flipper. It does what it needs to do, and they're very inexpensive. It holds its edge for a good long time because of the D2. But something about this Migron has been killing it with a lot of their inexpensive, their budget knives. And they've been fantastic. And since you can get them for the same price, admittedly, I lean towards the Migron. But you can't go wrong with the Mini Praxis. Fantastic, inexpensive knife. This has been one of my older knives in terms of like when I started really collecting seriously. And has been with me for a good long while. Let me... What am I doing? Put that down there. Okay, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I can go over knives all day in terms of presence. It's whatever your fancy is. I made suggestions on my top knives for 2025 on my last stream. This Migron was one of them. But if you've got a friend that's got so many knives that, you know, what the heck do you get them? Then I've got some other, mainly stocking stuffer type stuff. But I'm pretty sure most anybody would really appreciate if they're into collecting knives at all. And one of them fell down somewhere and I have to find the bottle. It's like things like this stuff here. These are two things I use a lot of. This one is KPL's Knife Shield that I've been testing out and has been so far, I mean, really, I can't say too much about it because it's something that you kind of have to wait for a while before you really see how effective it is. I like to use the KPL Knife Shield on some of my knives because while wax is probably one of the best things to use when preserving a knife, the problem I have with wax is if you have a particularly nice looking or pretty looking knife, the wax, I mean, when you apply it to a blade, it kind of cloudies it up. It doesn't look as pretty. And I found out that KPL Knife Shield works so far pretty darn well. I've had this knife out for a while. In fact, this is covered in dust, which is usually a bad thing. And let me wipe it off. If I used wax on this, it just wouldn't look as good. This one is from Titan Knives. This was done in 02 steel, which is a tool steel, with a mirror polish. And the way this works is you give it a good shake, you spray it on, it's a protectant, it's food safe. And so if you know somebody with knives like this that they want to protect, however, you know, getting wax on them, you know, they don't like the look, or even oil sometimes will make the knife like look a little weird. You've got like oil spots and stuff like this. Check this stuff out. Now, I don't want to sound like a commercial. I'm just giving gift ideas, like stocking stuffer ideas for people that are trying to find stuff to get their knife collecting friend. So this stuff is pretty cool. This stuff works really well too, except this is not food safe. This one is ceramic gun and knife sealant. This one was recommended to me by Chasing Blades. But he loves using this stuff. The only problem, like I said, is not food safe. So if you're going to be using your knife, if you know you're going to be using your knife for food, you probably want to stay away from that. If you know you're going to be using your knife for other stuff, that's a good one to use. I heard that one works really well. I've used it on a few things. It's a little hard to say how long they last, though, because, again, this is stuff that I've gotten only recently this past year. I will say, though, that normally dust is a bad thing for knives. And the reason why I say that is what happens if you have a knife sitting out and it starts to collect dust. Even stainless steel knives will start to corrode, because what happens is that dust sits on the blade, and then the dust actually ends up collecting moisture. And then that's where you end up with a lot of pitting, a lot of little rust spots, is because dust settled there and moisture started to collect around the dust, and now you've got a pitted and spotted knife. And this is one of those knives that has been out for a while on a display stand. It did have some dust on it. I just wiped it off, but it's holding up pretty good. And this is not a stainless steel, so I know this is going to be prone to rusting if you're not careful. And I've been using this stuff on it extensively, and so far it's been holding up. But again, it's one of those things, time will tell. But I've heard really good things about this stuff. Again, Wicked Wax. I'm gonna check out that. What was that? Oh, back to wings and drinks. And ooh, wings and drinks make me hungry. Thanks for stopping by, Master Sergeant. Appreciate it. I'm gonna try that. What was it called again? Mad Yoko. I'm gonna check out that Mad Yoko, and maybe I can give them a try. The only problem is, obviously, if you're testing out corrosion stuff, it's kind of hard to tell whether it's working or not, unless you can get back to it after a year. But that's some stuff I can recommend. Other things for the knife collector that I would suggest. Oh, I don't know the prices on these. I'll try to link these up on in the description below. This is off the top of my head. I didn't really deep plan this. But a lot of this stuff is available on Amazon. Another thing for the knife collector that I've used a lot, and I highly suggest if you like playing around or doing stuff with your knives that most normal people don't, are these. These are cut-resistant gloves. Now, are they perfect? No. I've seen people actually cut through them with really strong knives, but they will protect your hands better than a lot of just plain gloves will. Actually, the best gloves for cut resistance are those chainmail gloves. The only problem with those chainmail gloves is you lose a lot of feel. And I mean, you're wearing chainmail on your hands. This is probably the next best thing. These suckers have saved my fingers and my hands so many times. This is actually my second pair. Because I went through one pair and I was like literally stabbing at it just to see what it would do. It held up pretty well. But this is ANSI Cut A9. This one's size 8 medium. You can get them in different sizes. They fit my hand pretty well. They're probably a little on the more snug side. But these have saved my fingers more times than I can count. I have so many ways to make lists, and I still fail to do so. Yes, I know. I've been so busy this week. It's really hard. So that's another reason why I like doing these lives, is I can talk off the cuff. But these are really great, decently comfortable. I mean, like I said, they might not be chainmail, but if you're doing like hard use stuff with knives, definitely want to have at least a pair of these on hand. I think this would make a great gift, great stocking stuffer for somebody into pocket knives or just knives in general. I believe these were around 15 to 17 bucks, around there on Amazon. But yeah, they've saved fingers, they've saved band-aids and all that fun stuff. I still use them quite a lot, especially when I'm testing out blades. I want to do more test cutting, but my girlfriend hates the amount of mess I end up doing. Which is why I haven't done a whole lot. Like, I want to do like stuff like, actually, let's see how sharp that is. I wonder if I can do this. I've been saving a lot of these cardboard tubes. I'm trying not to cut my mat. I just realized I didn't put a cut mat down. Yeah. I wasn't sure if I could do that. I always wanted to do that. Unsupported cardboard tube and just bit and cut right into it. Yeah, I hone these things to hair splitting sharp. Love it. Well, that was my first test. The first time I actually did that. That was cool. Other things that are knife related, but aren't exactly knife. Again, if you have friends that have so many knives that they like to collect that you're not sure what to get them, something other than just another knife because you don't know if they already have that knife. Those gloves are great. Another thing is this here. If they don't have one of these are awesome. I've probably used this more than any other sharpening tool in my possession. And mainly because I can carry this around. I toss it in my backpack. This is made by Work Sharp. Let me pull this one up. In fact, I might have this one already listed in the description. But they run about $40. Sometimes you can get them on sale for less. There it is. It's the guided field sharpener by Work Sharp. And the reason why I like this so much is you have a coarse side. These are magnetic. So when you're not using them, you can flip them over and store them that way so they're not rubbing up against anything, scratching anything. But when you're ready to use them, you pull them off. And this has a coarse side, which I believe is 320 grit diamond plate. Let me make sure I'm getting that right. Where do I have it? I'd like to say it's like 320 grit. Where does it say? Of course, the one thing I look at, it doesn't say shite. Okay. No, I'm sorry. This is a 220 grit. Coarse diamond plate on one side. Oh, and you have little arrowhead. I don't know what they're for, actually. I just know they're for arrowheads. I don't have arrowheads, so I can't really tell you how to use them. But they're inside there. There's a holder thing of whatever. So 220 coarse grit, great for reshaping an edge a little bit, removing very minor chips or rolls. And I think, what's this? This is the fine side. This one, I'm pretty sure, is 600 grit diamonds. Yeah, 600 grit diamond plate. So you got a coarse, and then you got a fine. You also have a coarse ceramic rod and a fine ceramic rod. If you turn this knob here, you can go from coarse to fine. You also have a hook sharpening section to sharpen fishing hooks, and you have another rod here, another ceramic rod for serrated edges. So you have that, and also there you have a leather strop. Now, when you buy it, they have a green compound already on the leather strap. I've actually kind of scratched that out. I did use it for quite a while, but since then I've cleaned that off and I've replaced it with stroppy, what was it called? Stroppy stuff, 0.5 micron stroppy stuff, which is why it's pink, and they've got to clean that off and reapply some more stroppy stuff to it. But a really nice leather strop that I've been using quite a bit. And they're also guided. You have these angles on the sides. And I believe these are 20 degree angles on these sides, as well as on the strop, to help keep your sharpening in line. Just, these have been super handy. And like for $40, this has, again, seen probably more use for quick touch-ups, for quick honing jobs, than probably any other sharpening tool that I have. And I have a few. Actually, now that I think about it, they're all They're all from Work Sharp. And again, I'm not trying to make a commercial for them. I just like their stuff. Nobody pays me for this. But yeah, this has seen a ton of use. In fact, the funny thing is when I made my Instagram, I made a little Instagram thing on how I got these to edge or to hair splitting sharpness, hair whittling sharpness. I used this. This is what I used to get them the point of where I can split a hair, was simply using this tool. Now, granted, yeah, I did replace the stropping compound, so there's that. But otherwise, I didn't use any other stone. I just used this. And this thing is freaking awesome. But that's another good one, another good suggestion in regards to getting, you know, something different for the knife collector in your family or a knife collector friend. Highly recommended this Work Sharp. If you want to give them something a little more robust, and they don't mind spending the time. Now, this one I haven't used as much. I have another one that's currently I have somewhere else. This is just the one that I happen to have nearby. And this one I haven't used yet. I've just used my other one. I actually have a smaller one because these come in 2 sizes. This one's made by Sharpall. And this one has gotten good reviews in terms of how well they're made, how good the stones are, just overall a great package if you know somebody that's into sharpening their own stuff. This one, I might have shown this a few times on my channel. Comes in a nice case that doubles as a stand. The one that I've been using is actually smaller. This is the bigger size. It comes in 2 different sizes. I think the smaller one is a 6 by 2 inch stone. This one is an 8 by 3. Oh, well, I just closed it. And this case, like I said, doubles as a stand. We have our dual-sided diamond stone here. And you even have a little angle guide. And then the way this works, and I love these diamond stones because you don't have to use any type of water or oil. You're just ready to go. Now this one has a coarse and fine side. This one has a 325 grit coarse side and a 1200 grit fine side. And it fits right on top just like that, so you don't need another holder. The case works as its holder. You have your guide, and the guide has different angles on there. You've got a 17 degree, 14, a 25, and a 20 on this one, and it's magnetic, so you can just, like if you were doing a 20 degree angle, you just place that on there, and then use that guide, and then just sharpen away. And this, I've been using the smaller one extensively, and it's been working amazingly well. It's actually in the kitchen, which is why I didn't bring it out. I just happen to have this one near me. I haven't used this larger one yet, but it's been working fantastic. The one that I've been using, I like it a whole lot. That's why I got this bigger one, because I anticipate using it eventually. Case is nice and sturdy too. Good grief. I'll put that back. But that's another one that I would highly recommend if you have somebody that likes to collect and sharpen their own stuff. Actually, where'd that bag go? I just want to put it all back together. If I can remember where I put the bag. Ooh, excuse me. There we go. There it is. There we go. Well, let me know if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, I'll just keep going with this stuff. But that's another big suggestion in regards to gifts that you can get. If you're not sure what kind of knife to get, you can get them something like this instead of a knife. And I don't think anybody would be disappointed at all. This one, now this size on Amazon, I believe runs, where is it? Thought I had it pulled up. I guess I didn't. Let's see, Sharpall. I'm pretty sure I have it on my list down. This is the larger one, like I said. This one runs, was it 60? Yeah, this one runs 60. So a little bit on the pricier side. The smaller one is it's a 6-inch by 2.5 inch. That's the smaller one. The smaller one runs just under $40. So if you want to get the smaller stone, that's $40. Honestly, between the two, if you want the larger stone, get the larger stone for the 60. If you want something, if you don't want the larger stone and you're looking at the smaller stone, I'd almost say get this for 40. To be quite honest, because that gives you the strop, that gives you also the ceramics. It's just maybe $1 or $2 more. And like I said, I've probably used that more than any other sharpening tool that I own. Let's put this back in the box. There we go. Nice. I just checked UPS. It still hasn't come in. Trouble Bunny, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Just talking about gift ideas for somebody that might have way too many knives, like I do. And you don't know if you want to get them a knife or not. So these are all different non-knife suggestions that you can, get as a gift or stocking stuffer. Also, if you do get the Sharpall dual-sided diamond stone that I just showed you, and this is why I say go with this. But if you do get the diamond stone, you're going to want something like this. This one I haven't used yet. This is the second one. I have another one that I do use. But it's essentially, it is a leather strop on a paddle. And I like these when they're on a wooden paddle, because otherwise you're left with something like this, which is a little harder to use. Like I have to put this is a leather strop also that I use, but I have to put it on something or use the edge of my table because it's not supported in any way like this one is. But you'll definitely want something like that if you're doing your own sharpening and you get the Sharpall dual-sided stone. That's why I was saying that if you're only going to spend $40, I'm saying go with this work sharp, because you get all that. You do have a leather strop that comes with it. You get ceramics. You get a ceramic to sharpen your serrated knives or hone your serrated knives. Personally, I just think this tool is fan-freaking-tastic. Give knife people a pair of scissors and a pry bar. Still won't use them, but won't have an excuse to. There you go. Oh, thank you for the subscribe. I appreciate it. The other one, now, still going on the sharpening train. Again, suggestions for gifts if your friend has it all, your family member has it all. This is the other one I've been putting a lot of use through. Let me pull this up so I actually have the info on it. This has quickly become one of my favorite things because it's kind of a no-brainer when it comes to sharpening stuff. Now, this comes in 2 different kits. Technically, well, yeah, 2 different kits. This is the Work Sharp Precision Adjust sharpener kit. This is the other sharpener kit that I've been using a lot of. Now, originally, it didn't come with this case. What I did, I bought, oh, there's a toothbrush in there. I bought the sharpener, which is what I'm about to show you here. Okay. So originally, this is what I bought. It comes in just a box. There's no case. But the way this works is you put your knife in this vise here. Actually, hold on. Make sure. I'm always forgetting which way this goes. There we go. You can put your knife in this vise. Open. There we go. Tighten that up. And it magnetically connects to the base. Like so. There we go. And then it comes with one of these I don't know what they call it. Tri-stone sharpeners. Now this kit with this base, this one tri-stone sharpener ran, I think it was $70 on Amazon. This is what it looks like from the front. I know I'm doing top down here. Okay. And this works this way. This magnetically attaches up there. And then you have your choice of a 320, a 600, and then you have a fine ceramic as well. You can see I've used this one quite a bit. And what it does is you set the angle to where you want it. So you can set a pretty precise angle by turning this knob. This one was set at 20. You've got single degree increments there. And then what you would do is once you have the angle you chose, you can use this to sharpen your knife. It holds it at that angle so you can get a really precise edge and line across it. And also, when you want to go to the other side, there's a button you press here. I can flip it over, and then I can work on the other side. Now, this one, like I said, runs about $70 for this particular kit. And this has pretty much all you need to create a nice, sharp knife. Obviously, the only thing missing is a leather strap. You can get those relatively inexpensively. Though what you saw earlier is if you get this and you really like it, which I did, you can also get the upgrade kit. And this comes with more stones. Let me get this thing off before I end up putting myself. There we go. I got the essentially an expansion pack accessory kit. And the accessory kit comes with is you get a case that it fits in, and then not including the toothbrush, which I use to clean my stones, you get three other arms. You get the original one that this comes with. You get one that's much more fine. I think 800 grit or 600 grit, 800 grit, and I forget what else. And this one also comes with a leather strap as well. So you get the case and the leather and those extra stones, and the accessory kit runs another $80. Or you can buy it all at once for like $130. So you can save a little bit if you just get the whole shebang all at once. But I really like this one because it's kind of a no-brainer in terms of sharpening. Now, I don't know if it could still compete in regards to freehand sharpening. I still believe freehand sharpening is the way to go if you want the utmost sharpest knives you can get. But if you want something easier to use, like you still want really well-sharpened knives, but you want something easier to use, and you don't have to worry about holding your angles right. You just want to be able to get it done quickly and well. This one's kind of hard to beat because of the cost, and it works really, really nicely. I've used this actually quite a lot in testing, and I've been able to get really good edges on this thing in not much time. And then when I'm done using it, it breaks down into this case. If I can break it down. There we go. So it makes it easier for me to store. There we go. It's not a bad case either. Oops. Get that all the way in there. There we go. So that's another gift suggestion. This one's going to be a little pricier, but honestly, if you can't be arsed with taking the time to learn and practice freehand sharpening, you can't go wrong with this thing. It's pretty freaking sweet. No, that's I want my knife. Like waiting forever. I'm probably, when it comes to waiting for packages, I am probably one of the most impatient people in the world. Not gonna. Oh, it's delivered. Okay. I'm gonna run down. I will be right back. I will have more suggestions also, but I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab that knife. So, be right back. I'm gonna go ahead and put the be right back screen on. I wish I had music to this thing. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab this package. That didn't sound right. Also, probably shouldn't carry my mic with me. Yeah, here's my mic. All right, made it. I'm alive. Package came in. Yay! Unfortunately, it's still kind of chilly. So I'm going to have it sit there for a little bit and acclimate to the temp. We'll give it a little bit of time. So that'll probably be a big reveal for towards the end of the stream. There we go. Hopefully I didn't destroy my mic. Okay. So I'm glad it made it in. I just wish it was earlier. It was supposed to be here yesterday. Other things I could suggest if you're trying to find presents for the knife collector in your family or friend, I can't suggest these things enough. These are not terribly expensive, thankfully. So away from the expensive sharpening systems, these are sunshine cloths. Now, you saw the one I was using. They start off this bright yellow. I think there's another color. But what these are embedded with, I think they call it Jeweler's Rouge. And what it is, it's a very mild abrasive. Gotta look for snow? No. I went out and grabbed the box and ran back in. It is too cold out there. I don't see any snow coming down though. It's just really dark. Now, like I said before, these have Jeweler's Rouge embedded in this cloth. They start off this color, and as you use it, it starts to get dark. Now, this is still usable. You don't want to wash these cloths or anything. You just continue to use it until you notice it starts losing its effectiveness. It's pretty much going to be entirely black by the time it's used up its effectiveness. And I mean, you can use these and wear these things down to bare threads practically. But the reason why I love these so much and why these are so amazing is nothing polishes up metal and even other surfaces quite like these things do. They were used originally primarily for jewelry and things like that, but I found them to be extremely useful for knives, especially if you have, like, I use them for a lot of traditional style knives, and they're great for shining up. If you saw earlier that chestnut bone one, I've got some. These are swell centers. I showed these last week. This one's a natural micarta. This is another pattern that I don't normally collect, but I really like Case's micarta. I think it looks fantastic. This is called a swell center, or they also call them Coke bottles because they kind of resemble, if you look closely, they kind of resemble a Coke bottle. They're kind of like trappers where you have a clip point and then you have a secondary pen blade. And these are much smaller, as you can see, but these are handy knives I like to keep in my watch pocket or fifth pocket of my jeans. There's other ones that are like similar size, like tiny trappers, or another pattern is called the baby doc. I have quite a lot of those. I'll stick them in my little fifth pocket of my jeans. But these cloths are great for shining up like the bolsters on a knife, getting rid of fingerprints, cleaning off any, even because the Jeweler's Rouge is a very minor abrasive, it'll even help buff out some very minor scratches on the metal. And they really do give a nice shine to the metal. And they can be used for jewelry. Like I said, they were originally used for jewelry. Only be careful because you don't want to use them on something like costume jewelry. Because I did test them out once on some old jewelry I found. And I rubbed the coating right off to the plastic beneath. Whoops. It's a very thin coating. But yeah, it will remove the coating or metallic coating on fake jewelry, I guess. So you want to be careful with it.
but it will put an amazingly nice shine on metal, as well as like in some cases, if they were bone handles, they'll actually shine up bone really well. I like using them on those. And I'm seeing it do the similar thing to the micarta scales on this, where it's giving it a nice shine. Now I'm probably marring some of it up because finger oils or fingerprints, but gives it a nice gloss, even to the scales. And these are very inexpensive and they last a long time. I got like a pack of these, like 4 or 5 of them on Amazon, these sunshine cloths. And I like to get the yellow ones. They have another one, I think they're like bluish. And it has a much more, I think the blue ones have a much more fine, a much more fine, what's the word I'm looking for? Abrasive to them. So I like the yellow ones. Yeah, $20 and you get like 1, 2, 3, you get 5 of them. You get 5 tubes. So pretty inexpensive, especially since they last a really long time. Like this one, you can see a lot of black on it, but it's still going strong. And again, you'll probably wear this thing down to, to threads before really needing to replace it. The black stuff that's on the cloth is essentially all the gunk that you're removing oxidizing and staying on the cloth. Also, it's a lot of like I said, because it's abrasive, it's taking very, very minute amounts of metal. Like I said, it'll polish really super fine scratches out, and that's what ends up getting deposited and turning black on the cloth. But really awesome polishing cloth. Another thing I would suggest getting a nice stocking stuffer, and since you can get like 5 of them for like $20, that's a nice little tiny gift for 5 people right there, or save one for yourself. But I like using these in cleaning all my traditional knives or some of my other like highly polished mirrored blades. I'll use these on and give them a really, really nice shine. And they work fantastic. And you don't need to rub very hard. Just like you're cleaning anything else, really. Then good to go. Love these cloths. And a lot of people have asked me about the mat that I'm working on, this NAFS mat. I know I have that listed on my description. The knife, it's like a mouse pad display mat, like counter display mat. I just thought they were neat looking, and they have some useful information on it. You even got a ruler on either side, and you got the profile, so you know what the profile, blade profiles are named and approximately what they look like. Just handy stuff on the mat. Is it really coming down by you, Morgan? Like I said, I'm not seeing it, but it's getting darker and darker, so it's a little hard to see out there. In fact, I should turn on another light. Because it got dark really quick over here. Ugh. Oh, and I hit my table with my knee. Ow. And my coffee's cold. Other suggestions for knife lovers, if you want to get them some nice stocking stuffers, I would have to say are probably these here. These are leather slips. Now, if you know somebody that likes to collect traditional knives, then these are some things that they might really like to have. This is a leather slip. This one fits. I've got my Crossroads Barlow in there. This will also fit a Sodbuster Junior, or I have my. You saw earlier that that copper lock. They fit in these pretty well. And what these leather slips are for is mainly just to protect the knife as you throw them in your pocket. So you put your knife in the slip. Now keep in mind, if you buy a slip and you put a knife in it, the leather slip is going to conform to that knife. So pretty much you're going to only want to use that slip for that knife that you use it for. Which is why I have so many of them. This one happens to be, these are made by Case. This one happens to be dyed black with leather, or with not leather, with red threading. This one holds a Sodbuster Junior in there. So I'm not going to use this slip for anything other than Crossroads Sodbuster Juniors because it's kind of conformed to that shape. If I try to use another knife in there, it'll deform it, and it won't hold whatever knife you use as securely. Thankfully, these are rather inexpensive. I think the smooth ones generally go for roughly around $9 to $10 for the smooth-sided ones. The herringbones are maybe $1 more expensive with a herringbone pattern. But I like to have my traditional knives in one of these slips. I can toss them in my pocket, and if I have change or keys in there, they're not going to just completely destroy the knife as it's bouncing around. And these are just, they look great. They keep the knife protected until use. They slip right back in your pocket. Probably why they call them slips. Another handy thing, if you're looking for stocking stuffers, are these. This one I use as a slip, but it's more of a belt pouch because it does have a little loop in the back so you can attach it to your belt. I use these as slips. I toss them in my pocket. These are soft-sided, also made by Case. These are for use in trapper-sized knives. This one happens to be, you can see I like to collect trappers. This one happens to be a 6.5 Bone Stag trapper with a Warncliffe variant for secondary blade. And I like carrying my trappers in these. They just slip in right inside, snap shut, and they're soft, which is also very nice. They feel just really good. And I have several of these, again, to carry my trappers in. Like my green apple. And because sometimes with trappers, depending on the material, sometimes even though they look pretty much the same, they all have two blades. They're all relatively the same measurements because of the natural materials used for making a lot of the scales. There could be some variances in size or width, like you can see here. How these are, the width on these bone scales are different. This one has some weird hip action going on. So even then with these, I like to keep them in their own respective pouch. Although now I don't know what pouch was in, but thankfully they're a little bit more forgiving. When did I poke a hole in this thing? I don't know how that happened. Oh, and this is what I was talking about, customizing case knives. I like to burn knives sometimes. And that's that toasted bit that I put on the edges of this one. Because normally this is a sky blue just all through and through. But I like to add, sometimes, depending on the knife, a little texture, a little color. The same with this one. I burnt this one a green apple, normally green and yellow. I darkened the edges, the ridges. But another thing that I like to do with my traditional knives. But another great suggestion are these. These will run maybe $1 or $2 more expensive than the slips, like $12 to $13, I believe. But real nice, keeps your knife well protected. Has this one again has the belt loop in case you want to carry it on your belt. I prefer to just tuck them in a pocket. And those are all I have. I have so many of these. Just to give you a rough idea. Well, these things are handy as hell. And I have one relatively generic leather one that I keep my my Kaiser in. This one's a Kaiser slip joint. This one, you can see there's a big difference. This is thinner, not as thick as the case ones. I do prefer the case ones. I mean, it's held up pretty well still, so I can't complain. But you can usually find some really inexpensive leather slips online for maybe a little less. I forgot how much these were. I think they were only like maybe $4 or $5 for this thinner. It's a little stiffer feeling, and like I said, a lot thinner leather. But to give you an idea, yeah, I have a lot of these things. They are super handy. And again, because they conform to that specific knife you use them in, depending on what I'm carrying, like this one was a gift from my girlfriend. Depending on what I'm carrying, they each get their own slip. I don't buy a slip for everyone because I don't carry all of them. The ones that I do carry, I make sure they have a slip to go in. So as you can see, I rotate traditional knives quite a lot. A heck of a whole lot. That's because I like carrying them. Where am I going to shove this? Okay, this is going somewhere. I don't know where. You stay there for now. And what did I do with that cloth that I'm not using? But yeah, these cloths are awesome. I know I had a tube. Oh, forgot about this. Let me get this back in there. And then one last thing, last gift suggestion. And I think these cost me like $20. And I don't know where to get them, to be quite honest. I got mine from Chasing Blades. If you have a case collector fan, they have so many hats. I finally got my hat in. Forgot to show you guys. I don't know if I did. I got my case hat in. This one, it didn't come with this pin. I found this on auction quite some time ago, and I was wearing it on a different hat. It's a hat pin. This one's a case squirrel. Of course I had to get it. And as soon as I got my case hat, that had to get thrown in there. But there you go. Another gift suggestion. Now, I don't know. I got mine again through Chasing Blades, and it's not something that they normally carry. I don't know if you can. I'm pretty sure you can get them from. I'd like to say you can get them from Amazon, but I don't recall seeing that. Oh, they got a couple. Not the same one though. Might have to. I don't know. Searching for on other sites. What's wrong? I happen to like my case hat. I like the squirrel pin, the hat pin, and they have different types. Obviously, the squirrel one I was gonna get. There was just if I remember correctly, these, at least on the auction site on Whatnot, when I saw these, they didn't go for that much. They were like maybe 10. I think they started at under $10 on auction. I think I paid like 15 to 18 for mine because somebody else was wanting to buy it. And the auction said, like, no, it's coming home with me. Oh, up to $10 to $12 to $16. I'm pretty sure I was like around 18 to get the pin. So I know I probably overpaid for it, but I wasn't letting it go. That bastard was fighting me hard for it. I won. It's mine. Unfortunately, I haven't seen them again on Whatnot. I asked Chasing Blades if they can get a couple more, and they said they would hunt them down. So, not that I really want more. They have different ones like deer. I think there's like ducks. And I forgot what else. Maybe an elk or so. Or I don't know if there was a bear. So they have different hat pins, but definitely wasn't going to let the squirrel go. I would have been nuts to let the squirrel go. So let me know if you have any other questions. I've been sitting here, admittedly taking up some time to let this package warm up. And actually, let me open it up. The package doesn't feel so cold. I don't know how the guy's truck was, but when I got down, the lobby was really cold. So I just try to be careful when it comes to electronics and metals, bringing them out from the cold. Like, I don't worry so much about my guns because I'm normally carrying them on my body, and it generally keeps my firearm warm. Let's open this box here. Let go. Oh my god, he packages this really well. This one was also from Chasing Blades. And apparently they're mocking me because I can't open this box. Wait, how the hell do you open this box? It's a weird box. It's like sealed, but not sealed. I'm so confused. I know I'm opening it off cam, but there's addresses and stuff on here. You know what I found out? I didn't realize I have to pay an extra fee if I go over a certain amount of packages a month on my UPS post box. So I was kind of surprised by that. Either that or I wasn't paying attention. Probably wasn't paying attention to it. But yeah, I went over apparently my monthly allotted packages for the month. It's like, you kidding me? So now to pick up my packages from there, it cost me like another $1.07. Okay, it's still a little on the cool side, so I'm going to let that sit here for a little bit. And then I will show it to you once it's had a little bit more of a chance to warm up. So those were probably my biggest suggestions when it came to, excuse me, when it came to gifts that are knife related, but aren't particularly knives. So if you know somebody that collects a lot of knives and stuff and you're not sure what to get them, those are probably my best suggestions. Other suggestions would be like flashlights, things like that. Like this one's an O-clip. I think these run like $30. I haven't even opened this one. I got this one. I think I got this as a giveaway. But flashlights are another thing. Probably my most recommended one. If I were to pick one specific thing, it has to be this. This would be my top pick for anybody that collects knives, unless they don't do their own sharpening. Which I think most people that deal with or collect knives, I think the majority do at least their own honing and stuff, which this is awesome for. But this would probably be my most recommended item right here. Another way to screw me out of money. What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the UPS thing. Yeah, I didn't realize that I had a monthly allotment. And apparently my monthly allotment is like 7 packages. And then I had a whole bunch of Whatnot stuff going through there. And then they told me, it's like, yeah, you're over your monthly allotment. It costs you like $1.07 now per package. Like, ah, crap. So I made sure to change that right away. I'm still keeping it for now, though. I'm just not going to send every package in that direction. So my biggest worry is it's Christmas now, And while my building tends to be pretty good, stuff sometimes still ends up missing, which is irritating, not just, for me, but for everybody involved. So I thought it would be good, at least for the holiday season, and also for the channel, to get my own post mailbox. And I went with UPS as opposed to the United States Postal Service. One, because it's easier for me to get to, and two, because it's actually cheaper. No surprise. Oh, and three, it's because it's actually a street address. So, because there's a lot of places that won't deliver to a PO box, but because it's an actual street address, they'll deliver those to the post mailbox. I don't get it, but yeah, they won't. A lot of places that don't deliver to PO boxes will deliver to a UPS mailbox. So, and I'm over there a lot anyway, so it doesn't bother me too much because I'm always over in that direction. So it doesn't take me. It's not a big deal for me to stop by and grab stuff. It's only when things are late and I'm like chomping at the bit where it becomes a little bit annoying. Like today, but today I didn't have that package going to the UPS store. It had it come to me. So that helped a whole lot. I'm trying to think of anything because that's pretty much all I had in terms. And then right now it's just about chatting about other stuff. So if you have questions on my collection or what you think of, tell me what you think of the Gonzo. Since I finally picked one of those up. I don't have enough. I just got it today, so I can't really give my opinion on it yet. All I can talk about earlier was just what I initially saw when I unboxed it. And so far, I mean, it's a knife. It's a clone of the Delica 4. And as far as fit and finish, it's got some rough spots to it. But again, I need to spend some time using it before I can develop a really big opinion. At the same time, it's hard to argue with it in terms of fit and finish because this thing was less than $20. $17 if I remember correctly. So to say like it, oh, they didn't smooth everything out on the scales, it's like, well, yeah, well, you paid $17 for it, so I mean, what do you expect? And that's part of my thought on it. But hopefully, I'll get some time to use it, and we can go more in depth with it. But yeah, that's just my initial thought, and then I'll be doing a separate video for that one, as well as a comparison video for between that one and the Delica 4, which I'm like I said before, I'm being honest. These Spydercos were a huge surprise. Why can't I flick you out anymore? There you go. These Spydercos were a huge surprise. I always avoided them because I just didn't like the look, but I'm glad I got into them. Well, I'm glad and horrified because I'm glad I got into them because I got to learn more about them, and it was nagging me that I didn't like the look, and I can't really say much about them because I didn't have one, and I don't like saying too much about something that I don't have because I don't have experience with it. So now that I got them in hand, I'm feeling much better about giving my thoughts on them, and they've been quite surprising and how well made they are, how nice they feel in the hand, and just how, I don't know, how useful. Like I said, getting to use this really pointy tip, for example, and how it was so agile in doing little curves and stuff like that was pretty impressive to me. Now, I'm not. While I'd like to, I am sticking to only a few Spyderco because I'm trying to restrict a lot of my knife purchases now to things that I can specifically carry with me because I do have a lot of knives, and unfortunately, there are a lot of knives in my collection that I do love, but can't really carry because I do live in a state where there are knife restrictions, and it's generally a good idea, at least in my state, to stay with a knife that has a 3-inch blade or less. And that cuts a lot of Spydercos out. And that's the reason why I went specifically with a Para 3, Sage 5, and the Delica 4, is because they fit those criteria, 3 inches or less. So I can carry them with me and use them, and they're not just going to sit at home to be a part of the collection. And I have a lot of knives already sitting at home as part of my collection that are fantastic knives, but I can't really carry out to use or use on a daily basis. Some of them I still do carry once in a blue moon, but if something happens and it's just another thing where they can look at and go, why are you carrying this now? And I just don't want the trouble. Now, like I said, that restricts me in what Spydercos I can carry because of those limitations. And I don't have too many options other than like these. I think there are a couple more options. Somebody mentioned the NATO 5. Other people have mentioned. I thought there was another. There's like there's a few smaller ones that are like under 2.5 inches in terms of blade length, which are great. I just wanted something closer to 3. And I might have gotten my last Spyderco for at least a little while. So yeah, I fell in this hole. Sons of bitches, whoever suggested I really look at Spyderco. Yeah, problems. Now, this one I did not get from Chasing Blades. I'm sorry, Mike. I did not get from Chasing Blades. This one I got actually from Knife Center because I actually had a lot of points accumulated to spend, and so I was able to get myself a relatively sizable gift certificate that I applied to this. So I was able to cut the price down on this thing by a very, very generous amount. Now on Amazon, you can get these. Actually, I think they're going on sale now. Currently, let me make sure I have it here. There we go. Okay, on Amazon, well, I don't know if it's on sale, but this one you can get for 123. I think they're normally around 130 bucks, roughly, maybe 130, $140 that I've seen them around. And the knife I'm talking about, I've just already mentioned, is the Native 5. Now, this one I also got in Spy 27. So it's got the same steel as the Delica 4. And we've got a Spyderco sticker. We got some information, product information and warranty guide, and a nice little letter that they included. Same letter, I think. Yeah, same letter. Regarding their Spy 27 steel. Now this is the one that just came in today from UPS. And I've been waiting for it. Was supposed to be here yesterday. Oh, it's still a tad cold, but not too bad. This is the Native 5. This was the other one that was suggested to me because of its blade size. Now, this is also a lockback like the Delica 4, but it's shaped more closely like the Sage 5. So here I've got my Para 3 and Delica 4, similar blade shapes. We got my Sage 5, and now I have the Native. Oh my god, that's stiff. It's still a little cold. Probably could have waited a little bit more. But, so similar blade shape, a little different still. As you can see there. Don't have the little ramp up. This one's much more flat, it looks like, from the back. And oddly enough... Okay, no, it is curved. It's weird because it looked like a clip point when I was staring at it, but there's some swedging on the back. So the reflection made it look like a clip point and not rounded like this one was. but it is in fact rounded. It's just got some swedging on the spine. But otherwise, relatively similar shape to the Sage 5, only lockback, only Spy 27 like my Delica 4, not Magna Cut. So I kind of have, there we go, I kind of have matching sets in terms of compression locks and lockbacks. And I really wanted to get my hands on one of these because this was the other one that was really highly recommended along with these three. And the reason why I say this is going to be the last Spyderco for a while is because I think I've got every Spyderco that I've really wanted to get my hands on now. And everything else at this point is just going to be like extra fun time play stuff. So this is the Native 5. Again, Spy 27 steel. FRN scales, also done in cobalt. And I'm wondering if that's their thing, because they seem to have specific colors depending on what they're made with. And the cobalt appears to be a Spy 27 thing. Now, the only issue, yep, I didn't get one yet. The only issue I have is this pocket clip. I'm gonna have to change that pocket clip. It's gotta go. I just don't like the pocket clip. No. Now, the pocket clip I put on my Delica 4 was kind of a generic. I know when I swapped out the pocket clip on the PM3, I bought a Flightanium one. And this one's more of a generic no-name titanium, supposedly, pocket clip. But it works, it fits, and it actually works quite well. I'm going to have to find another one to fit the Native 5. And I know some people have made suggestions for the Delica. So if you've got suggestions on pocket clips to look at for the Native 5, let me know. I'm going to take a close look. Now, already we can see some differences. Much wider handle or scale. Almost exact same texturing done with just different flat spot there. No little cutout on the lock back like they do on the Delica. No ramp up, like I said, but really aggressive jimping there. You have what this I thought was missing. You have a nice finger choil also with some jimping there. So while I don't have the ramp up for my thumb, I get a nice choke up on that blade. That's cool. And it's more in line with knives that I normally would carry. So the ramp not being there, although I really like that ramp up to like push my thumb against. Kind of wish it was there. Doesn't really bother me much. That jimping here is really aggressive. My thumb's not going anywhere. It's not uncomfortable though, which is nice. And I don't know the exact measurements on this one. I'm going to be doing a standalone video on this one to focus more on its specifics, maybe do some more comparisons between this and the Delica. But again, this is the Native 5. I just got to get myself a new pocket clip because I just don't like these. My Demco 4, or Demco 4, AD 20.5. Why did I say 4? My Demco has a pocket clip that was similar that I finally just replaced. Actually, where is it? Where's that Demco? It's kind of weird too. So my 8020 Demco had a pocket clip like this, which I absolutely disliked. And so I got a deep carry one for that. And this one's so deep carry, it's actually higher up off the scale. So this one really hides in my pocket. But another one that I had to replace because I just can't stand these types of pocket clips. And if I can change those pocket clips out, I am going to change those pocket clips out. So now I have to go on Amazon and see if I can't find another one of those. So this is the one I've been waiting for. This one, where was this one? This one's Japan made, Seki City, Japan. And I just noticed that the Native 5, you can see the branding on here. Spyderco CPM Spy 27 steel. Golden, Colorado, USA, Earth, just like my PM3. So the Native 5 is US made. Nice. I haven't done, obviously, I just got this out of the box, so I haven't really done anything with it. So one-handed close, nice snap. Let's see how centered that is. Pretty well centered in there. Little hair off. And I know this runs on phosphor bronze washers, if I remember correctly. I didn't feel any grit. There's a bit of friction, but again, this is a lockback knife, so I'm sure it's not gritty. It's actually quite smooth. But I'm pretty sure a lot of that friction's coming from the lockback. We're going to go ahead and maintain this one right now. Let's clean this one up. And we are going to oil this and clean out the well on this one. So yes, I now have my 4th Spyderco, and I'm excited. I've been carrying the Delica 4 quite a bit since I got it. I have been carrying the PM3 and the Sage 5, kind of been going back and forth. But then since I got this one, I've been carrying this a hell of a whole lot. And it's been great. I haven't had to use it a whole lot, but I've been carrying it a lot. Now, let's go ahead. I'll do what I do with all my traditionals. We're going to start with putting some oil in the pivot. Drop on each side. Oops. Well, 2 drops on one side. There we go. And then any excess oil will work itself out as well. And we're going to put some on the back lock where that sort of meets. And then we're going to swab this really good, get rid of any dirt or machining debris that might still be in there. Before I knock that off. This nice swabbing. And that gives that oil some time to wick in there as well while I'm doing this. And then we'll work that oil in. Now, oddly enough, there was a little grit on the Delica 4 when I first got it, but I think it was from the locking mechanism and not from the pivot. Ever since I've been carrying it, it's smoothed out considerably. I don't really feel any grit on there now. It's perfectly smooth. This one, very smooth out of the box. Like it might have had some friction on it, like the pivot feels a little tight, which is why it's not just like flying out when I was trying to flick it open. But it was incredibly smooth feeling. No grit in it whatsoever, even on the back lock. Now, the friction I'm feeling, I'm still trying to determine whether it was from the pivot or the lock or just a combination of both. I think it's primarily from the lock. That tightness. So I'm not going to do anything in regards to the pivot. I'm not going to loosen up. I'm going to let it wear in as I carry it. And then that should feel much better as time goes on. Kind of like how the PM3 was. Need a little break in. There we go. Now I can flick that open. One-handed close. Not a problem. Pretty sweet. Let's clean that well out now. Now, ooh, it's really odd shaped in that well. I'm going to pour a little bit more oil down in there and then run my swab over everything. Now, I didn't notice any oil on the blade like on the Delica. Because when I first got the Delica, there were some spots on it that I found out was just like oil on the blade. I didn't notice it on this one. I'm not seeing much in the way of like dirt and debris. This dark stuff that you're seeing on the oilcloth here is just oil. So in terms of machining, they did at least a pretty good job of cleaning this one. Again, not feeling any or not seeing any like dirt or grit or anything like that in there. No dark stuff. And then swabbing all this oil all over the metal parts inside. It'll also help protect it. Now, I don't know what kind of steel or kind of metal they use for the insides. All I know is the blade is CPM Spy 27. Yeah, I don't know what steels they use for their springs and all that other stuff in there. I'm assuming it's stainless steel of some sort. I know on the Salt series, they're supposed to be pretty corrosive resistant. There we go. And I got all the excess oil out now. Very smooth. I can flick that open with one hand use. That's nice. Ride this up with my thumb. I don't think I can flick these with my thumb. I've tried that with a Delica. It just doesn't work. But I can ride it up with my thumb with no problem. No grittiness. Smooth as silk. Huh. That's pretty nice. Again, I was really impressed with these Spydercos. I wasn't sure. And I was even thinking like FRN. That's kind of a cheap material. At the same time, if it's done well, and this one does feel like it's done very well, very aggressive. I mean, this thing doesn't feel like it's going to slip anywhere. Much more comfortable feeling in the hand, I will say, than the Delica, but the Delica is a thinner handle. And I think that's why. It's still very comfortable. But I do like how this fills my hand a little bit more, kind of like how the PM3 and the Sage 5 do. I can really choke up on that point very easily. Feels really good in the hand. That pocket clip, I'm going to throw out the window. I just don't like it. I can feel it in the back of my knuckle there. That would create, at least the way I'm feeling it right now. I can see if I'm using this knife a lot, it's going to be rubbing up in the inside of my knuckle quite a bit. Yeah, I gotta do something about that. I will go shopping on Amazon later. I already see the excess oil being worked out of the pivot cloth. I did kind of load this sucker up with oil. Pretty sweet. Going to be doing a lot of testing with this one. How's the edge on this thing? Ugh, almost needled myself. Let's see how the edge is. I'll grab some paper. Might as well test it out. Oh, I've got to catch up on my spreadsheet. I just realized a lot of these knives I haven't added my spreadsheet. I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Yeah, let's close this one. Don't need to have that open right now. Let's see how this is out of the box. Ooh. Very sharp out of the box. I didn't even finger test that thing. Ooh. Uh-oh. That's very sharp. I took a little, I didn't, nothing to bleed on, but I just realized I shaved my fingerprint a little bit. That was really nice. That just floats through. I love how, like, I love how I can just do this so easily with these spider toes. I know I have other knives that can still do the same, but I don't know, these just feel so much more agile. I mean, like, hold on a second. Look, we're gonna do something. Normally I just cut straight through. Where's another knife that's this one I know is insanely sharp? Let me get some of my insanely sharp knives. I'm gonna do a real quick cut through one of them. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Now this one has a shark foot, or actually sheep's foot, or they call it a shark foot blade. This is a Demco 8020.5. Love this knife also. I know this has an insanely sharp blade. It's a 20 CV. Yeah, this one, I know it's sharp as hell, but it's got a thickness because it doesn't come to a point like those spider toes, where doing those wavy cuts, not so easy. I mean, it'll do it, but it just doesn't. It's not as agile. I don't think it's meant to be. Again, it's a sheep's foot profile, so probably not the best thing to compare. I just know that that's an insanely sharp knife. This, and again, it's in 20 CV. Another knife I really like. That Shark Lock is amazing. What's another? Bel Air is more of a reverse Tonto. This one does come to a good point. Let's try that out. I know these are insanely sharp. I don't know what. Okay, so you'd think this one's just, yeah. I don't know why, because I know these are sharp as hell, but I'm not yet. You'd think I'd be able to be just as agile with this one. Like you would think it would be. I'm going through so much magazine paper right now. Yeah. I mean, still, it's amazingly sharp knife though. That's, yeah. Sorry to reach for under the table. What's another knife that I know is insanely sharp? That, okay, you know what? Some of my sharpest knives that I've ever gotten out of the box, oddly enough, are a budget knife, or it's like a budget brand. But weirdly enough, they have some of the sharpest edges I've ever gotten just right out of the box. And that would be SRM. I've mentioned it before. I don't know who's doing their polishing, but whoever's doing it, they're doing an insane job. Because these are highly polished edges, and these aren't expensive knives. I'm going to tell you right now, they have some of the best looking edges I've seen out of the box. And they're pretty inexpensive. Like this one, I forgot how much this one was. But I got to be careful because I know it's deadly sharp. I'll have to see. So I honestly can't even remember the model. I don't have too many SRMs, but every SRM has had a very similar edge to it out of the box. I had one SRM that I even wasn't that happy about. It had some blade wiggle to it. It was really cheap. And like if you tighten the pivot, then it would be like, it'd almost be too tight. You couldn't flick it out. If you loosened it a little bit,
then you'd reintroduce that blade play. But the funny thing is regardless of how unhappy I was with that particular knife in terms of like the blade play and all that, it had the same razor sharp edge as every other SRM. It was crazy sharp, like ridiculously sharp. I think that one, yeah, it was like it was $20 if I remember correctly. I ended up actually selling it. I got it to a point of where I got rid of the blade play, and it was just enough where it was flickable, but it's like a very fine balancing point. And I sold it for like even less than $20. But because I just wasn't happy with it. But it was still crazy insane sharp, like one of the sharpest knives I've ever had out of the box. Which one was this? I'm not seeing it, which is really weird. Well, I know it's an SRM. I just can't remember. I know I did a video on this too, I believe. I just have a hard time remembering freaking names. Let me look at my videos. I'm pretty sure I did a video on this thing. I have so many videos, this search is going to take forever. Okay. Well, I don't even think it's the video search. I think YouTube in general doesn't like it when I want to run a search. It makes it think too hard. And it doesn't like it. I'm just going to go through my early videos because I'm sure it was one of my earlier knives. But I'm not seeing it. I could have sworn I did a video on this one. No, I can't remember the name. If the name comes to me at some point, I'll remind you. But for whatever reason, I can't remember what it was called. It didn't say on the blade, did it? SR. Oh, here it is. God dang it! I could just check the blade. I'm an idiot. It's a two. This is one of those that doesn't have like a name. 255L GT. You look at the branding on the side. That's what this one is. And like I said, look at that edge. I gotta be careful because this one will slice. It'll cut me and I won't even realize it. It's just whoever's doing the sharpening is probably not getting paid enough. Now, this one, if any of them should be agile like those, like the Spydercos, this one should be, just by virtue of how sharp these edges are. But I don't know what it is at that point, because like this is one of the quietest edges I've ever had on a blade when it came through going through paper. But for whatever reason, why am I not able to? If I hold it this way, yeah. See, as soon as I go to a curve, it wants to tear. Even though if I just went straight through, this will cut like a laser. Like I can, like, I just barely feel the resistance of the paper on this blade. So I know this edge is crazy sharp, but I can't do what I was just doing with that Spyderco, which I don't understand. Why? I've got paper everywhere now. A knife that I know is sharp as all get out. And again, we'll go with a new one. This did it without any problem. Like almost too easy. Like scary easy. And this edge, which I know can probably split an atom. I can't do what this one just did. And all these Spydercos will do this. I can get any of those Spydercos to do what I just did on the paper. 80-20. I can tell you right now the 80-20 20.5 didn't do it because I got a sheep's foot blade on it. And it's just not made to be that agile, I guess, in that way.
but I couldn't get my Bel Air to do this. And the Bel Air is one of my favorite knives of all time. I can tell you right now. Magna cut steel. Great blade shape. Great knife. And this one, which I know has a laser edge on there. Freaking crazy. I can't do what I just did. Without it tearing. Okay. That's about the closest I've ever gotten with it. Yeah. I don't know what they did. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what it is. But that's another reason why I know that I've got people that are into Spyderco just going. I know there are people out there that have Spyderco that are just sitting back, arms across their, across their chest, and just nodding their head like, "Yep, that's Spyderco for you." That's how Spyderco do. I know there's somebody watching doing that right now, just sitting back, nodding their head like, "Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do." So again, still super freaking impressive. And this was, like I said, whoever's paying whoever it is that's doing the edges on these, they need to get paid more. But I still can't get it to do what that Spyderco was just doing. I don't understand. It's crazy. All right, I'll put that away. But there we go. Those were the new knives that I got for this week. We got the two traditionals from Chasing Blades. Let me get those out here. These I've already had. Oh my god, I'm running out of space again. I need another case. This is gonna get redonkulous. Excuse me. So these were from Chasing Blades. In fact, all these except for the Native 5 were from Chasing Blades. And the Gonzo. That was from Amazon. So not that one. Where did it go? Uh-oh. No. What did I do with it? I've lost enough. There it is. My that's not it either. I have lost a knife. Wherefore have you gone? Oh, I forgot about this. This I should have mentioned for a good gift too. The Weehaw, or if I'm pronouncing that right. This little bit selector and this little chubby. I've seen a lot of YouTubers that really that use that, and I got really curious because it seemed like everybody that was into knives had this Weehaw bit set, and it turns out that it's a really, really good bit set. And I finally got my hands on one, and they're right. It's a freaking fantastic set. And yeah, I don't know what I did with my other knife. This is gonna freak me out in a little bit. So I was just staring at it a moment ago. Did it fall in with a candy? But yeah, the Weehaw is another highly recommended gift that I would suggest getting for somebody that's into pocket knives, and you're not sure what else to get them because they have every pocket knife under the sun. But that's another one that I would highly recommend because they're very precise. They're very precise bits, and especially the little chubby feels really. I almost said something I was going to regret. The chubby thing, the tool that the bits fit in, actually is really comfortable to use. And since they're not very big, very easy to store as well. Now, I'm wading through my stuff because I just realized that I have no idea where I just stuck a knife. Because I'm missing my other case knife now that I just unboxed earlier today. Oh, duh, it was right here. So yeah, the chestnut bone smooth antique or smooth. I want to keep wanting to say antique because it reminds me of an antique bone. Oh yeah, that case knife. We'll move this out of the way. If you're looking for bits at Weehaw, fantastic stuff. Also, a nice little stocking stuffer, especially if again you're not sure what to get that family member or friend that has 20 billion pocket knives. If you don't know what to get them, because obviously it's hard to find a knife that they might not already have. I mean, there's a lot of knives out there, but I know it gets hard. So we have the new knives that I got this last week. That chestnut trapper, the Gonzo, which I'm not going to bother pulling out now because it's all stuck in a box, and that Bermuda green, and then the Delica 4, and now the Native 5. I'm just going to leave that in the tin. Actually, I'll try to remove this. Is this all in frame? Yeah. Yay, it's all in frame. Move these off to the side as well. There we go. And like I said, Chasing Blades, I'm sorry I didn't get that from you, but I had a really good discount. You wouldn't have sold me, Chasing Blades would not have sold me this knife for how much I paid for it. I mean, I could have probably begged them incessantly, but there we go. Pull the Ganzo out, so you can see. So these are the new knives this week. A lot of suggestions on gifts to give. I don't know where I'm putting all these. I'm just all mixing them around. Gifts to give your knife collector, family member, or friend, loved one. Like the sharpening stone or the diamond plates, the Sharp All, that sharpening system from Work Sharp, or the Traveler one, which is still probably actually the Work Sharp. This one probably my best suggestion when it comes to giving a gift to your knife lover. This one or the Weehaw. Those two right there. Those are probably my best suggestions for gifts to give somebody that seems to have every knife under the planet. And you want to get something that's knife related, but not exactly another knife. So all the new stuff for this week. Let me know what you think. You got any suggestions for presents and stuff like that for somebody that has a lot of pocket knives? You're not sure what to get them. Let me know. I'd love to hear it because then I'll probably end up spending money on it myself. I know I was going to check out that wax that Wayland had mentioned. Again, was Yoko? Yako? I'm going to murder this name, and I'm sorry for murdering this name. Mad Yako? I'm going to check that. In fact, before I forget, I'm going to go type it up. So that way I can do a search on that. And, oh, I see he's got an Instagram. We will follow the Instagram. Because why the hell not? What Instagram am I on? There we go. I can follow their Instagram. And yeah, let me know what you think. So far, oops, when did I cut my leg? That's not good. So let me know what you think. What was your favorite new knife or whatever that was on the table today? I admittedly, it's hard to, because I really love these traditionals, and I'm sorry, that chestnut bone looks freaking fantastic. But I will have to say it's probably between these two. I still can't believe how agile these are and how I was able to do that cutting, even right out of the box. Didn't do anything with it. You saw me open the box, brand spanking new. The only thing I did was oil that sucker. That was it. And that was crazy, crazy sharp. I know this one is sharp as well. Now I'm going to try it. Because my curiosity won't let me go. Let's try the case knife with that little curve test and see how it does. No. It's a good sharp knife. I love case knives. I'm not trying to make them look bad, but no, I haven't done any honing with that either or sharpening. So still a crazy sharp knife, just not going to do what that Spyderco was doing. But anyway, let me know what was your favorite. I can guess what Morgan's favorite was. I'm pretty sure this one right here, because of the bird shape, or possibly this one because it's cheap as hell. I don't know. It's going to be between these two, I bet. But we'll do a comparison video on these two eventually. I just want to have some time to spend with it, so that way I can get a better feel of how it is and get a better idea and talk from experience. But let me know what you think. I think this is where we are going to end it for tonight, because I got a lot of cleanup. The bob head. Which one's the now? Again, you have the Spyderco, and then you have the Gonzo clone. Either one of those, I guess you'd probably enjoy. You'd probably enjoy the Gonzo clone, because I know it's a lot more inexpensive. I like the Spyderco. I like that ramp up. Like I said, I still have a lot of testing before I do any major comparisons on that one. But there we go. I think we're going to end that for today. And let me know what you guys think. My favorite right now, if I were to pick any of these knives, is in terms of like what was the top favorite I got for this last week, I'd have to say the Delica 4. Now, this is fantastic, but again, I just got it today, so I can't really say too much about it. I can't imagine it being bad. I'll probably enjoy it as much as I like the Delica 4. The only reason why I say Delica 4 is because I've actually been carrying this quite a lot this week. So I've had a chance to use it. I've had a chance to carry it. I'm getting some experience, at least a week's worth of experience with it so far. And it has not disappointed. It might not be as fidgety as the other Spydercos, but I do like the fact that I can utilize it one-handed. And it does what it needs to do, and it does it very well. This one, I still need to change the pocket clip on it because that annoys the hell out of me. But once I do that, I'll probably be carrying this around quite a bit as well. And I can't imagine that I'm going to dislike this in any way. So far, it feels really good. Ergonomics so far, again, really nice. I just want to get some experience with it. I'll do a separate video on this like I always do with like first impressions. Essentially what I'm saying here with a little bit more detail on measurements and stuff like that. I'll do a separate video. Hopefully that'll be out later this week, probably midweek. And then maybe, hopefully, I'll have a comparison video or more detail between the Delica 4 and its Gonzo clone. So there we go. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Hope you guys had fun watching. Hope you enjoyed what you saw. I'm going to continue doing these lives on Saturdays because I'm enjoying doing it. I just enjoy talking about knives. So if you enjoy talking about knives, come see me again next Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I can't imagine I'll have much of any new stuff for that weekend, but we can always talk knives and just shoot the shit, as it were. So thanks for watching. Thank you guys so much for all your support. We are really close. I'm at 491.
subscribers. So if I can hit 500, that would be insanely cool. And we are getting there. It took me forever to get my video game channel to get to that point. Took me like a good few years, but this channel has been growing pretty darn quick, and we're almost at 500. So if you know anybody that's into pocket knives, you think they'd enjoy the channel, go bring them in, have them sub. If you haven't yet yourself, subscribe. Thanks again, you guys in chat, awesome as always. Again, if you liked what you saw, please drop a like down below. And yeah, that's it. I still don't have a closing song or whatever for this, so I just end this one. Not like my video game channel. But let me know what you think. Comment below on any of these knives, any of the items you've seen earlier in the stream. And yeah, hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks again, and bye-bye. See you, Dream.